D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick, 102.5. The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, David Janes. We are proud to be Americans. Megan Keller, the golden goal for Team USA. The women defeat Canada to win gold in hockey. Love it.
Congrats. That was a hard-fought game. Went into overtime.
Well, Team USA tied the game late in regulation and then won it in overtime. So that feels great. It feels great.
A 3-on-3 sudden death winner. That was something. Holy cow.
Megan Keller is a professional player. She plays for
the Boston team in the PWHL, the Professional Women's Hockey League.
Well, congratulations to her and the team she represents in the Women's League.
This is why the Olympics are fantastic, because even if you don't watch women's hockey, how can you not get sucked into this?
Ooh, nice
USA,
move.
Canada, gold medal on the line, overtime. Awesome. Awesome.
And not just any goal. That was a spectacular one-on-one move to beat the defender, and then a great backhand flip for the goal. I mean, when you see it, if you're driving along, make sure you make a point to go watch this goal.
Or you could just
Keller
pull over.
Scores.
That tag, you should have that slogan.
Just pull over?
Yeah, yeah, I did set it up so you would think that. No, but I'm saying the Olympics is fantastic.
I can come up with something
But
better
I like
than
that. That's old school.
That is old school.
That's
the
old
NBA
school.
used to do
Exactly.
that. The NBA is fantastic.
See, you did not Willie knew.
Yes.
Right away. See, Adam, come on, man.
Did they say that on NBA Inside Stuff? I used to watch NBA.
It was
Inside
pre.
Stuff.
It was before that.
It was a pregame.
It was the Bird Magic Jordan.
NBA is fantastic.
They used to have the Pointer Sisters playing. I'm so excited. Remember that they had that one? The NBA is fantastic. That was good.
There you go. Tagline.
There you go.
You've got to see this goal, though. Watch the goal.
Unbelievable.
Gino says, it is absolute crap. It's 3-on-3 for overtime in the gold medal game. We deserve as fans, not to mention the players deserve that to be settled 5-on-5.
That is
no matter how long it takes.
That is a topic of discussion.
Is it both men and women?
Men and women are the same. But there is some discussion that, at least in the finals, in the gold medal game, go 5-on-5.
So it doesn't change once you get in the gold medal round.
It doesn't change. It goes 3-on-3. And what is it, Adam? 10 minutes, and then it goes to a shootout, which I don't think we've had a shootout because none of the 3-on-3s have gone that far. But I believe after 10 minutes, it would go to a shootout, even in the gold medal game.
Ooh.
That's right. As I unmute my microphone. That is correct. 3-on-3 overtime for 10 minutes. There is no shootout to determine the gold medal game. It's overtime.
Okay, so in the gold medal game,
yes,
it doesn't even go to a shootout. Okay.
Right. Can you imagine the gold medal being decided by a shootout?
It happened in, I want to say, 1994. And I think Paul Correa was involved in a shootout. I think it was Canada versus Sweden, as I recall.
I don't recall.
I didn't watch.
I believe that happened. It was before the NHLers.
Yes, in the gold medal game.
See how quick Adam is pulling up. I'm like a goal. I'm like putting my hands down on my computer. Adam's already got it pulled up. I'm like, let me see if I can look. Oh, he's already got it.
Hold on. In the gold medal
quicker
game,
than AI. He's quicker than AI. AV quicker than AI.
Now there's a slogan, Derek Mason. If teams reach overtime in the gold medal game, they will play full 20-minute periods of sudden death overtime at 3-on-3 until a winning goal is scored.
That was like the tortoise in the hare right there. That's what that Willie was thinking about what he was about to write, and Adam was like, oh, here it is.
Give me credit, though. I knew the game in my brain. I just couldn't verify it on the computer.
Adam's fingers did.
So in 94, Canada over Sweden. Is that right?
All right, hold on.
I think Crispy was a part of this. Well, it might have been 92 that Crispy was.
Well, in 94, it was Peter Forsberg, right? That was Peter Forsberg's
Yes.
legendary goal in the shootout.
Yes.
Yes.
And I think Paul Correa was playing for Canada.
I'll have to look up the
Couple of future
1994
Preds?
rosters. I don't have time. There's too much
We got other
pressure on
things
me
going
now.
on.
Yeah, we
There's
got
too
other
much
things going on.
pressure on me now. There's too much pressure on me now.
Pressure makes diamonds.
That
There you go.
that is true.
We got all kinds of slogans today.
We do.
Absolutely.
I do have an announcement to make.
Let your fingers do the talking.
I do have an announcement to make. What?
I said, let your fingers do the talking. There you go.
All right.
But that was a slogan anyway. With
The fingers were
type
doing
of-
the
yeah.
walking.
Yeah, and talking because you're
And
like,
and
yeah,
talking.
These
type
boots
it.
were
Boom, boom.
made for walking.
The boots were made for walking.
yeah, those
Yeah.
too.
All right.
All
So
right.
let's get to the announcement.
Yes,
I have
go
an
ahead.
announcement to make.
All right.
All right. Today is my final day on the show as a parent of one.
Oh wow. Yes.
Did I get any of you guys out there with that pause? Today is my final day on the show.
You scared Nick Frazier over here.
Dot. As a parent of one.
Nick started crying.
Nick was like, "Who am I gonna joke with now?"
As I informed all of you, was that last week? I don't even remember. As I informed all of you, or earlier this week, my wife Bridget and I are expecting our second child, a baby girl. She was supposed to arrive a week from yesterday. We found out today she's coming tomorrow. So
Well, congratulations. That's a good thing.
She wants
It
in.
is.
That's
She
a
wants
wonderful
to,
thing.
She wants to get
She
in.
wants to be in the world.
she wants to be the next Megan Keller.
There you go.
She's not going to learn how to skate from me. That's for sure. I can't skate worth a damn. But yes, the baby is coming tomorrow.
The family of 3 becomes a family of 4.
Yes. So
Dun, dun, dun,
I'm excited and freaking out all at the same time. So my energy might be a bit all over the place today.
That's typically how it is.
That
But in a good way.
Yes.
In a good way.
Always in the good way.
yes,
Yeah, absolutely.
yes, we'll see. We'll see. I'm just excited about Team USA beating Team Canada for gold in women's hockey. Let's hope the men can do the same thing. The men do have to get past Slovakia.
Now you see this camera shot that they're showing right now. The coming off the bench.
Mhm.
I can't prove this, but I believe the Predators, and at the time our director John Tackett had the camera put one of the first things to put the camera on the bench like that so you could see the celebration.
Mhm.
And it is a classic. This one, the overtime winner, they came off that bench like lightning. I mean, the whole all 22 or whatever, they were on that ice within 3 seconds of that goal being scored. That was awesome. So a salute to John Tackett out there, who's now with TNT and doing an awesome job for them. But he had some great shots of Peter Laviolette and the Preds in some of the heyday there. And just about everybody else has now copied that. That's like a standard place you want to put a camera now.
As Rex Road points out to me, when Team USA defeated Team Canada in the gold medal game in South Korea 4 years ago, there was a shootout for the women to decide the gold medal game. So that is different than this, of course. So that rule has changed. But we're all excited. We're excited about Team USA. We're excited about a new addition to the DVD family.
We got a lot going on.
We've got a lot going on.
No. Did we get the correct spelling?
No, we have not. We do. We need to come up with a prize. I believe we do have Predators tickets to give away next week. So maybe that's what we'll do. And this is the competition. 615-737-1025. If you can correctly guess the name of my soon-to-be born child, it is a girl, and you have to spell it correctly, we'll come up with a prize.
And,
Sounds good.
and somebody got the name but spelled it wrong.
Somebody
Yes.
got it. Somebody got it the other day, but spelled it incorrectly.
Okay. And that person, I think,
3
even
times.
took a second or third try at it and missed again. Like, how many times, how many ways can you spell this name?
Exactly.
I feel
Also,
like there's only one way. but-
one more correction. That was in 2018, not 2022.
The last
The
time there was a
women's-
shootout in the final?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Rex Road.
Thank
Now,
you, Rex, for
can
listening.
we set the table for one more huge competition tonight? I think our listeners will enjoy this because we know Nick Frazier is a very popular figure on this station.
Dr. Crane.
Dr. Crane, as he's known on the Chasing Big Joe. tonight is another edition of Trivia Night for the Stars. We've been promoting it on the station. It's over at Boom Boss East tonight. I'll be hosting the event. And Nick Frazier, he came in and said, I want in. I want in on the competition. So I said, you're in. We're looking for recruits. I got you on a team. So he's looking to redeem himself because what happened last time is Frazier was awarded a huge trophy that still is in our studio right now. In fact, if you happen to be watching on YouTube, I will show it to you. I mean, this is a great trophy. Like, if you were 11 years old, you won this trophy, you'd be fired up. I mean, it's big time. And then you look on there, and I think, Derek, this is the one you and I hosted. I think you were on a team. I hope you weren't on Nick's team. Because,
no, I wasn't on Nick's team.
Because his team was awarded the trophy for finishing last in the competition.
It says, the winning isn't everything trophy.
Sponsored by Chris Sanders.
So he wants to proudly
He wants to redeem
trophy,
himself. Yeah, well, I don't
or
know.
he wants to redeem
If
himself.
I may, I just
here comes Frazier.
Hal
Okay.
Gill did cheat. I do believe. I would like to take that to the committee. So this year I am
Ooh.
defending my last place title.
So you want your title?
I don't want it. I'd give it to somebody else. But
I don't remember
again, I'm
how.
out there
Did
to
Hal win? Did Hal's team win the last time?
Maybe.
I feel like they might have finished in the top 3, but
Yeah, they were up
Oh,
there.
man. I do know that Hal, on the microphone when giving it to him, he did have a profanity that we couldn't. Luckily, we weren't on the air or anything. But the people of Boom Boss, there's a playground out there. It's a kid-friendly place. I said, Hal, what are you doing? I don't think Hal will be there tonight. So if there's anybody that needs a PG environment, I think we'll have PG tonight. Maybe PG-13, but we'll see.
Arlo Vingan is a big fan of the playground at Boom Boss in East Nashville.
You can still join. If you want to come tonight, we'll be there. It starts at 7, so get there a little before 7. Get your team, and we got good prizes. Thanks to our friends here, 102.5 The Game, providing a lot of prizes. All the money goes to Stars. It's good stuff.
Randy says, after each of my 3 kids was born, on the way home, I stopped at Waffle House to have a meal and ponder. Before going home and crashing, take yourself to Waffle House. We'll see.
You're not a Waffle House guy?
Mm.
I'm not a huge Waffle House guy. That may come as a shock to a lot of you.
I'm not a huge
That's
Waffle
a
House
shocker to
guy,
me.
but if I'm going all in. You got to do the late night thing. You got to get all the fixins with the hash
The
browns.
all-star breakfast.
You got to dive in there. You can't go half in on the Waffle House.
Dylan wants to know how Hal cheated and what was the question.
See, I don't remember the cheating. Maybe Nick remembers this. What happened, Nick?
He came over to my table and kept asking questions. Well, you guys put this up here? Like, where do you go turn this in? And he'd look, and then he'd go run back to his table and put the other answer we had. Then again, we came in last place, so probably took some second answers from somebody else. But that was taking place.
So you're saying he employed the old adage of when in doubt, look about.
Well, yeah, because we were sitting right next to you and you were naming off all the questions. He thinks maybe you were giving us answers. No, that was not the case. So just putting that out there.
Okay. He's thrown down the gauntlet. That's a fierce accusation.
Big
cheating in the
Wow.
in the Stars.
A
trivia
year
night? Come
later,
on.
he brings
can't
up
do
the
that.
accusations of cheating a year later.
Man.
Wow.
You know what they say? If you can't beat them, cheat them.
Who said that?
Must be a
Some-
Duke fan.
I might have to.
Bill Belichick?
Address this.
Some character on some show my son watches. If you can't beat them, cheat them.
Is that the bad guy in the show?
Yes.
Okay.
Or if you're not cheating, you're not trying.
Right. That's a NASCAR adage.
Yes. Yes. One texter wants to know if we're IHOP people. I will.
I am definitely not an IHOP.
I
Much
I
more
used to
Waffle
be.
House.
Not
in
now.
high school, I attempted to break my local IHOP's all-you-can-eat pancake record. It did not go well.
What was the record? Do you feel like it was gettable when you started?
Well, in my younger days, I was a bit thicker, so
Okay.
I thought that I could eat a couple dozen pancakes.
Was there a time limit?
No.
Okay, so you could take your time.
Yes. I think I made it to like 7.
You didn't get to double digits?
No.
What was the record? You had to get to like 24?
Thereabouts. It was impressive.
Did you seek out the record holder and say, man, that was impressive, man, I tried?
No, I did not. I don't know who the record holder is or was.
They don't have like a The picture on the wall of the person that did it?
If they did, I don't recall seeing it. That's my
I
only
question your
attempt.
training and your effort with that. I mean, you need
There was
to have
no
that.
training. I just went in there and said, "Give me all the pancakes." I've watched enough Man versus Food in my life. I feel like I can do it. I have said I have an affinity. I have a soft spot for Joey Chestnut, as you guys know. He is, speaking of great Americans, a great American.
Well, that's why I'm surprised that you didn't do any training for this, because I know your feelings for Mr. Chestnut.
yes.
And I would have thought you would have had this guy, the record holder's picture on your wall. You would have had training going on. Like Chestnut, you would have looked at his YouTube videos for pointers on this.
Have a montage of you like
Yeah.
eating some food.
Yeah, it's I'm disappointed in myself.
Yeah, I think you need to give it another crack.
Okay. Well, if anybody
do a little
knows,
training.
if anybody knows of any pancake eating contests, 615-737-1025. One texter says those trivia cheating allegations are right up there with the double touching by the Canadians in curling. Is Hal Canadian? No, he is not Canadian.
I might have to bring this up internally in the Predators broadcast meeting the next time we all get together. This is quite the accusation.
Why am I not surprised, though? Because you know how Hal was during Silly Underdog picks. He was farming out his picks to Max
he was.
Hers.
Well,
He
he had a committee. He had a committee. Let's give him some credit.
Did he come in last or did Chris come in last? I think Chris came in last. Good. I'm glad he did.
No, I think Chris jumped out of last, I believe. I think Hal finished in the cellar, which is fitting for the rookie. You got to pay your dues a little bit.
I mean, I was the rookie last year and I came in second place.
You haven't paid your dues.
I came in second place again this year. Next year will be my year. I'm going to break the pancake eating record somewhere, and I'm going to win Silly Underdog picks. Damn it. 615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We are off to a chaotic start on D. Mace, Vingan, and Donick. Lots of things happening. But we're going to rein it back in coming up next, because at the end of yesterday's show, I shared something with Derek and Willie that we all found a bit confusing. So we are going to attempt to answer that question coming up next. 615-737-1025. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick, 1025. The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. We are off to a chaotic start to our program. Just as we were coming on the air, the USA women's hockey team defeated Canada in overtime to win gold. The medal ceremony is happening right now. The Canadian women do not look thrilled to be getting silver medals. They're trying to put on brave faces, but they're devastated.
And it was a heck of an effort by them because they got whipped by the Americans in the preliminary round, and they had lost, I think, 7 straight head-to-head matchups. So they were within, a minute or two of winning 1-0?
A couple of minutes, yep.
Wow.
If you have heart problems, blood pressure problems, and you're a hockey fan, these past 2 days have not been for you. A lot of high stakes overtime games in the men's and women's Olympic hockey tournaments. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. The men's tournament continues tomorrow. Finland versus Canada, a 9:40 a.m. Central puck drop. Slovakia versus the U.S. at 2:10 p.m. Central. So we will discuss that later in the program. But as we were ending the program yesterday, I saw that DraftKings Sportsbook released its opening over-under win totals for the NFL season. And the Tennessee Titans, who have won 6 games over the past 2 seasons, their opening over-under win total is 6.5. I went looking to see what it was last season. I believe it was 5.5. But a team that has won 6 combined games over the past 2 seasons is starting out at 6.5 wins on DraftKings Sportsbook. And we know that these odd makers, they're pretty smart. So here's what I'm wondering. What are they seeing? Are they seeing Cam Ward have a promising end to his rookie season and they think he's going to take that next step? Do they think the hiring of Robert Saleh is worth a bump? Do they think that all of this cap space that they have is going to be used wisely? So I'm curious, Willie, and these win totals are going to change after free agency, after the draft, before the season. But color me surprised that the Titans are getting 6.5 wins at the start of the offseason.
This is just my theory, having absolutely no idea how they come up with this, because as we mentioned yesterday, you can do this all day, but we know that these numbers are going to change when free agency starts and then after the draft. And then I would say probably it'll stay steady until the end of training camp, and then they'll probably adjust some again. But it wouldn't surprise me at all if 6.5 stays the number the whole time. My theory, and it's only a theory, is that they just believe that when you've been bad for the last couple of years and you've had a couple of years now to pick high, that you're going to be spending some money, probably some of Cam improving from year 1 to year 2. I think you put all that together, in theory, an easier schedule than it was last year. Remember how hard the schedule was last year. Inordinately hard for a team that picked first. It's probably the hardest schedule anybody's ever played as a team that had the first overall pick at the start of the season. So I think all of that contributes to they should be able to win a few more games.
Okay, I was looking at because I believe the Titans are sort of kind of in that space that New England was in last year, where they have a quarterback, they have some players, and they have a lot of money under the cap with a new head coach.
And a high draft pick.
And a high draft pick. Last year, some bookmakers, and this is on Fox Sports, they had them set over under at 8.5 wins. I'm trying to, so if I'm looking at that and I'm saying, well, a team that won 4 games last season, the year prior, I think they won 4 games.
The Patriots won 4 games.
Yeah, they were 4-13.
season.
Yeah. So a team.
And why did they win the 4th? Joe Milton,
Absolutely.
which
And-
got the Titans
Yep.
the first pick.
Exactly right.
So-
Beat the Bills.
What they're saying is this particular site is saying that a new head coach in another year with a lot of cap equals 4 more wins. So 4 more than they had last year, almost 5 wins. Why is it that what they're thinking about the Titans first? That's what I want to know. Because just like New England, they have money under the cap, a lot of it. They have a quarterback that they believe in that playing well toward the last part of the season. They have some pieces, some young pieces that are showing talent. DK, Ellick, Gunnar Helm. Their offensive line seems like it's getting better. They have one of the most dominant guys on defense and a young guy that seems like he's trending up if he can get everything worked out, meaning Trevonde come back healthy and drop a couple of pounds. So I'm looking at that and I'm saying, why 4 games on this side and only really 1 on the other? Because essentially that's what it is. You would think a team with as much money as the Titans have under the cap, a new head coach, everybody seems to be optimistic, a quarterback that played well toward the latter part of the season. Why isn't the bump more? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
It's a good question. And I'm looking at the other opening over-under win totals around the NFL. So despite the fact that the Titans are getting 6.5 wins, they are projected to finish last in the AFC South. DraftKings Sportsbook is giving the Texans and Jags 9.5 wins and the Colts 8.5 wins. In terms of teams under 6.5 wins, the Dolphins are getting 4.5. The Jets are getting 5.5. The Browns are also getting 6.5. The Raiders are getting 5.5. And the Falcons and Panthers are getting 6.5. The Cardinals are getting 4.5. So not very many teams under the Titans. Vegas still expects the Titans to be one of the worst teams in the NFL next season. But again, I saw that number and I was surprised. One, as I said, because the Titans have won just 6 games in 2 seasons. Does this mean that the people behind these totals really like what they saw at the end of the season from Cam Ward? Because the overall numbers for Cam Ward, as we all know, we discussed this at length throughout the season. The overall numbers were not good. If you're looking at the total season, you could make the statistical argument that Cam Ward was the worst starting quarterback in the NFL. But if you watched the games over the course of the season, after the coaching change, after the bye week, he made incremental progress. I think he ended on a high note, minus the injury, of course. But in terms of the trajectory of his play, I think he was moving upward.
And as we sort of referenced before, at the end of the year, they played a few more teams that were more comparable. They weren't mismatches personnel-wise. I think he faced, and we documented it, they faced the toughest defenses in the league.
Yes.
First half of the season.
Of the top 10 defenses in the league, they played probably 7 or 8 of them, and some of them twice.
The Texans.
Yeah. And then late in the year, against the Saints and against the I'm trying to
Seahawks.
Well, the Seahawks were one of the best.
Yeah, but I'm saying
Best unit.
defensive wise.
I'm thinking of they had a little bit of a softer part of the
okay.
schedule late. They lost to the Saints, but he racked up some pretty good yards in that game.
Atlanta.
Who'd
Was
they
it
beat
Atlanta?
late in the year? I don't know why. I've already
Had-
forgotten who they beat late, but they had a win. Everybody was upset that they won. Remember? Well, they beat the Browns, right?
The
Yes.
Browns.
Not that he lit it up in that game, but his numbers were better as he improved. The team started blocking better for him, and they played a little lighter level of competition. So I think there's hope that between year 1 and year 2, there will be improvement.
Now, Adam, what were
should be
the over-unders? Because I'm looking at it from last year for all the teams within the AFC South. What
All
are
have to.
they?
What are they now?
Yeah.
Okay.
What are they now compared to last year? Because last year, obviously, Houston was predicted to win the conference.
I'd have to look up last year's, but this
Okay.
year, DraftKings
I
Sportsbooks.
got last year.
Okay, DraftKings has Houston at 9.5.
Still the same.
The Colts at 8.5.
The Colts were down a game last year.
The Jags at 9.5.
The Jags was 2 games down last
And
year.
the Titans at 6.5.
The Titans were a game down.
So the Titans opened at 5.5.
Yep,
Last
opened at
season?
5.5. The Jags are the team that is getting the biggest boost or bump because they're predicted to win 9.5 games. now.
If you're looking at the defenses that
Mhm.
Cam Ward played, sorted by expected points added per play during the regular season, the Titans faced the number 1 defense twice, Houston, the number 2 defense, Seattle, the number 3 defense twice, Jacksonville, the number 4 defense, Cleveland, the number 5 defense, Denver, the number 8 defense, the Chargers, the number 9 defense, the Patriots, the number 10 defense, the Rams.
Half of their schedule was against top 10 defenses.
They did not play very many bad defenses. And we emphasize that throughout the season. So perhaps Vegas thinks that Cam Ward, in the context of the opponents the Titans played, showed enough promise to boost their win total to 6.5,
But
among
they don't-
other things.
But I don't think they're not. If we're basing it on that, and we have no other reason to, I mean, you can throw some other things. To me, that sounds like they're not too high on the coaching staff. Because if you, again, with a Mike Vrabel and a young quarterback coming back and the money, that's 4 extra games. And I get Mike Vrabel is proven. I understand that. But is he 3 games better than Robert Saleh and his crew?
See, I'm looking at it differently.
Mm-hmm.
You may be doing it the right way.
Excuse me.
You may be doing it the right way. You're comparing the over-under win totals from last year.
Exactly.
I'm looking more at how the actual season played out.
Okay.
I think it's what's the word I'm looking for here? Generous, perhaps,
Mhm.
that a team that has won 6 games in 2 years is projected to win that many games next season.
And that's not even a lot.
No, it's not. And that's my point. But
that is how the cycle should work. I think that's part of why it's set that way. It's just it has nothing to do necessarily with the individual players of the Titans. It's just how the league should work. When you're awful for a couple years, you should start to bounce back, at least to mediocrity. As we've said many times on this station, it's not that hard to go from 3 wins to 6 or 7 wins. It's hard to go from 3 to 6 to then the double-digit wins that you need to be a contender. 11, 12 wins and have a chance to win the thing.
I can see why they look at them and say they may only win 5. Just look at, we talk about defenses, right? It's going to happen all over again. Houston, Jacksonville, Cleveland. If the Jets can get their defense, Philly has a defense, Pittsburgh has a defense, Washington. And then those same teams, Baltimore away, Dallas, Detroit, the Giants. I understand now why they are looking at them and saying this may only be a 6-win team.
right now, I know it's way
And I get it.
too early.
Things could change.
Yes, I know it's way too early. But if you were asking me to place a bet based on today,
Mhm.
I would take the under.
The under?
Ooh, man.
I would take the under.
I mean, looking at it, and again, I'm just basing this on where these teams were to end the season.
Yes.
It's another daunting task for this offense. It's going to be. To me, their defense is going to have to carry them at least for a minute until everybody gets acclimated to the offense that Brian Daboll is running.
615-737-1025. DraftKings Sportsbook has the Titans opening at over under 6.5 wins. What do we think the odds makers are seeing? 615-737-1025. Also, here's another question that I want all of you to answer. Call or text. What would you suggest the Titans do in free agency? Because we had a discussion yesterday. Many of you accused us of being under the influence as we were having this discussion. But I want to know this as we prepare for our next chat. What would you, yes, you, suggest the Titans do in free agency. 615-737-1025. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. D Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025, the game. I had to wait for that part. This song I associate with the game of hockey.
Sound like a hockey
Yes.
game.
Well,
Like you just want to punch somebody. and
yeah. You
knock
got to
them
keep
into
them
the boards.
separated.
Yes, man.
As a young hockey fan growing up in Norfolk, Virginia, going to ECHL, Hampton Roads Admirals games, you heard this song a lot because there were a lot of fights in the ECHL. So this it's one of those songs that takes me back to my youth and falling in love with the sport of hockey. And maybe somebody today fell in love with the sport of hockey with Team USA the women defeating Team Canada in overtime 2-1. Outstanding game. Outstanding games over the past 2 days, both men's and women's. And the men's tournament continues tomorrow. So yesterday, we devoted a large portion of our program to discussing the idea of the Tennessee Titans using using a significant portion of their cap space, weaponizing that cap space to take on Tua Tagovailoa of the Miami Dolphins. In that scenario, the Dolphins would be giving you some sort of premium asset to bail them out. Looking for creative ways for the Titans to get those top 100 picks they so desperately crave. And as I said before the break, a lot of you accused us of being under the influence as we were discussing this idea, because we were all intrigued by the idea. Willie was even coming up with 3-way deals.
I say get
He was
outside the
trying
box.
to make it work.
Think outside the box.
That's what I'm saying. I'm all for thinking outside the box. I mean, the NHL trade deadline is coming up soon, and I'm wondering if the Predators could do something like that. I think they should. I think it would be smart. Take on a bad contract, get another draft pick, get a prospect. That's one way you can help improve your team in the long run, even if you're taking on a player in a contract that the other team wants to get rid of desperately. So this is why I've asked all of you to tell us what you think the Titans should do in free agency. Because as we know, there is a lot of risk involved in free agency. The Titans have all of this money to spend. And I know that a lot of you, and we discussed this in the lead up to the Super Bowl, a lot of you are seeing what the Patriots did and the Seahawks did at this time last year and where they ended up. The Patriots and the Seahawks were 2 of the top 5 highest spending teams in free agency last year. But I would say they are exceptions to the rule. CBS Sports had a great story, a playbook of sorts, what to avoid in free agency. Here's an interesting number, and this story had lots of charts and graphs, and it was like, I don't want to say the word it's like, but it's very titillating to me, all of these spreadsheets and
Ding.
where's that bell? Thank you. That's the nice way of saying it. The top 5 free agent spenders on an annual basis over the last 10 seasons. What do you think their combined winning percentage is? The top 5 free agent spenders on an annual basis over the last 10 seasons.
Average win.
Average win percentage.
I would say under 500.
You
I'll
are
say-
correct.
I'm going to say 420.
In the middle, 471.
Okay.
The top 5 teams in free agent spending, annual free agent spending over the past 10 seasons, have a combined winning percentage of 471. Now, understandably, which teams often spend the most in free agency?
The teams that have
Bad
been on the
team.
bottom.
The bad ones. So
They got a lot of holes to fill.
Yes, when you've got a lot of holes to fill. So the Patriots, again, who were one of those bad teams that spent a lot of free agency, they are an outlier. And even with the success of the Patriots, that winning percentage is still 471 over the past 10 seasons. So there are so many traps that teams can fall victim to in free agency. What do you think, Derek Mason, the biggest trap that the Tennessee Titans must avoid in free agency? Not necessarily a specific player, but it could be a specific position, a specific age group, a specific position at a specific age. What is the biggest trap that the Titans must avoid in free agency?
I think it's something that has reared its ugly head here before. You can't spend your way to the top. You just can't do it, especially if you're not developing, your young guys. And the Titans tried doing that, whether it be on one player or multiple players. You tried to spin your way to the top, or you tried to spin your way to relevancy, to stay in it. and it didn't work. It didn't work this time. It didn't work the time they tried to do it with Vrabel, bringing in the receiver.
DeAndre Hopkins.
Hopkins, or you go back to from Atlanta,
Julio Jones.
Julio Jones, yeah.
At least
So
at that time, they were on the verge of winning.
yeah, but still, they tried to spend their way into, instead of developing the guys they had on their team. Or if they developed them, they allowed them to go somewhere else and play. Whereas they could have helped them. They may not help their other team that they eventually went to, but they could have helped them in the system that they had grown up in and they were getting better in. So to me, the number one thing is you can't spin your way to an AFC South title, because that's all they have to do. And I don't think you can do it that way.
Willie, what is the biggest trap the Titans must avoid in free agency?
Well, I think that I would like to believe that they've learned their lesson on being burned on some of the picks. But I think when you are where they are, you almost have no choice but to overpay.
But it's smart
for guys
smart contracts.
that aren't right. You want to be smart, but let's take, for example, Tyreek Hill, right? I don't, let's just say the Titans wanted to go down that road, which I don't think they will. But for Tyreek Hill to come to the Titans, they would have to do what they did with DeAndre Hopkins, pay him way more than a contender would pay him. Right? I think in a perfect world, Tyreek Hill would like to get paid as much as he can get paid, but also play for a team that can win the whole thing. That would be what any player would want. The Titans aren't there. So the Titans have to overpay from the start to get a guy like that. And it probably falls in line with a lot of free agents. So I think we can say, hey, be smart. Don't overpay for guys. But they almost have to.
But they did it with Snead. They did it with, the left
Dan
tackle, Dan Moore. They did it before that. So they've tried.
Calvin Ridley.
The 2024
tried to do it.
Titans free agent spending spree. If you want to include L'Jarius Sneed, he was a trade acquisition, but they paid him.
Yes.
So you can include Sneed in this. Calvin Ridley. Would you say Calvin Ridley's worked out with the Tennessee Titans?
Nah, not really. Not the way they hoped he would.
Lloyd Cushenberry.
He hasn't worked out.
He's been okay, but I think they would.
But he's been hurt, so more. They haven't gotten bang for their buck, because he was the number one center, and they had to jump out and pay him a lot.
Tony Pollard.
Yes, I think that.
I think they've gotten a decent return on investment for Tony Pollard.
Decent.
Sneed, absolutely not.
Kenneth Walker.
Yes, Kenneth Walker was in
that first class, and they booted him after 1 year.
That's true. John says wide receivers, in terms of what traps to avoid. Wide receivers, they never work out here. One of the lessons in the story on CBS.com. Beware of the age 30 wall for wide receivers. CBS Sports says this. There's even more data to suggest that paying big money to wide receivers approaching age 30 is a very bad idea. 9 wide receivers have signed long-term deals at age 29 or older in the last 10 seasons that paid them among the 10 highest at the position. They've combined for 10 1,000-yard seasons in 24 years on those deals.
Here's where to me, a wide receiver is tricky. And I think this is the trap that a lot of people fall into. When you are evaluating a wide receiver in his 30s, and you're trying to predict, well, depending on how much am I going to get out of him on the back end? What you need to do first is, what kind of receiver is he? That's what you first got to identify. Because if you are a receiver that was built on speed, I'm not signing you for the big money, because your speed is going to diminish. It will. That's just a majority of the guys' speed diminishes. Unless you're like a Tyreek Hill, but he's had so many injuries, his speed is going to diminish. I want to look at an overall, solid receiver. A receiver, when I mean solid, I'm not talking about numbers. I mean a receiver that can do everything. Inside, outside, go deep, go short. Ain't necessarily known for the blazing speed, but he's consistent. That's why I look at somebody like Mike Evans. And for me, he's had too many injuries.
And he's
inj-
also
yeah,
in his mid-30s.
exactly.
Or
He's in his
approaching
mid-30s.
mid-30s.
Now, his first goal when he was a free agent, I think 2 years, I was like, hey, they should go get him. Get him. Bring him here. Why? Because he didn't depend on his speed to beat you. He was a guy that was a big body guy, physical. He could get downfield, but he did all that stuff in the middle that you need a guy in his 30s to do.
Well,
You're not going to find too many speed guys in their 30s.
Well, let's take a guy that we thought might have the skill set to get into his 30s. And I forget exactly how old he is, but DeAndre Hopkins, right?
Yeah.
You talked to him. You talked about him a lot and his unique ability. He's got really good catch radius. He's long. He's a good route runner. So he should, in theory, be a guy that could play into his 30s. But even he, despite a lot of people wanting the Titans to extend him before they traded him, he has dropped off a cliff since the Titans got rid of him. He hasn't done anything significantly, has he?
No, but that's a guy that was never known for his speed, like ever. He was just a technician at what he did. But when you go out and get those guys, if you do, they can't be your number one guys. They just can't. Because as good as they are, they're not number one good anymore. There's very few that are still number one good once they get into their 30s.
Here are some of the big money wide receiver contracts given to receivers nearing age 30 that have not worked out, according to this article on CBSSports.com. Terry McLaurin last season had a bad year. Tyreek Hill in 2024 did not work out. Devontae Adams in 2022, he did have 3 1,000-yard seasons on the deal before being released by the Jets. Stephon Diggs in 2022, Cooper Kupp in 2022, Tyler Lockett in 2021. You haven't been getting bang for your buck with any of those contracts. So you're looking at available wide receivers in free agency. Mike Evans, by the definition, by the lessons that are being shared in the story, don't sign Mike Evans. He's 33 years old. He's dealing with injuries. Pass. That's why Alec Pierce, for example, we've talked a lot about Alec Pierce. That's why Pierce is intriguing if the Colts don't bring him back, because he's 26 years old. Wan'Dale Robinson, who has history with Brian Daboll, he's 25. So if you're making an investment in them, they're not nearing that cliff that you find at the end of your prime.
But are they number one receivers?
Well,
you're going to have to pay them, but are they truly number one receivers?
Because you're going to have to pay them as if
exactly
they're number one wide receiver.
And that's the mistake that you don't want to go down. You're getting a guy that functioned at a number two option really well, and now you're trying to make him the number one receiver, all in a new offense.
And plus, you have to ask yourself the question, why is their team that they've been playing on letting them go if they're that age and still are in the prime of their career?
They may not let them go. We don't know. But they may, sign them to a 1-year deal. They may give him, what is it? The
Alec Pierce? Franchise tag.
Franchise tag him so he'll be there extra year, but we don't know.
615-737-1025. What is the biggest trap the Titans must avoid in free agency with all of this cap space to spend? 615-737-1025. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game.
Hey, this is Derek Mason, and if you injured yourself in a motorcycle accident, go to lawtigers.com for your free case evaluation. Even if your accident was months ago, you have nothing to lose by calling Law Tigers. Insurance companies want to pay out as little as possible, or frankly, nothing at all. Law Tigers fights to get you the compensation you deserve and doesn't get paid until your case has been settled. Look, they understand how much your bike gear is worth to you, so they will help you get it all repaired or better yet replaced. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is powered by Freeman and Fuson, and you can find them in Nashville, located at 2126 21st Ave South. Also, don't forget to go to predatorsbike.com to enter to win a custom Predators Indian motorcycle. Listen, I saw this thing yesterday at Brewhouse South, and it was nice. That thing is so slick, decked out in Predator color. So the entire team has signed it, courtesy of Law Tigers in Music City, Indian. That's Law Tigers, Tennessee's motorcycle lawyers.
D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick, 1025. The game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David Janes here with you. Willie Donick with 2 Gatorades. Hydrating for the show.
Yes,
And for the Stars Trivia Night coming up at
Exactly.
7 o'clock
exactly.
at Boomba's in our neck of the woods, East Nashville.
East
Go hang
side.
out. Go hang out with Willie Donick. Play some trivia.
It's a
It's
great
all
place.
for a good cause.
Yeah, come on out, have some fun. 7 o'clock tonight. Be there. 6:45. Get your squad. Chill out. Eat. Answer the questions as best you can. You might win a big prize.
Now, I used to play a lot of trivia, and I had a ringer on my team.
And you're happy
It's the
about
best
it?
way to go.
My good friend, J.R. Lind.
Oh, now
J-
there's a ringer.
J.R. Lind, who was on Jeopardy. We used to
Yes.
play trivia all the time, and we won quite a bit. He knows a lot of things. So
Did you feel like you contributed, or was it just like, lean on JR for all the answers?
mostly the latter. I would chip in from time
Okay.
to time. But when I knew something, he also knew it, so I didn't feel as special. Like, oh, I know. He's like, I got it. You need a ringer.
You
So if you know somebody who's great at trivia, grab them and take them to Boomba's tonight in East Nashville.
or just call
and
JR.
5 points, or
See
call
what he's
JR.
doing tonight. Yeah.
JR doesn't live here anymore.
Where did he go?
He's been gone.
I know.
I think he lives in California. Last I checked.
Maybe you could zoom in with JR.
I bet he would do it.
Quite the clever writer, JR.
Yes, absolutely. One texter says, I don't know football as well as you guys, but why not invest in what we have with Aya Manor and DK? Then go draft the best wide receiver available. Spend the money on the run game. I feel like this will give Cam a great group of young receivers to grow with, and he will have a strong run game to rely on. We're not winning the Super Bowl next year, so why spend a bunch of money on a wide receiver when we can get a younger veteran running back?
Listen, I'm with the running back thing. I'm with them drafting Jeremiah Love. But I also understand that in today's game, you have to have, a number one. And I'm not talking just, a guy that's your number one. I mean a bona fide game changer. And they haven't had that consistently since AJ Brown. And the guys that they have, I hope that they can turn into that, meaning Ellick or DK, or even Gunnar Helm. But right now, because of Calvin Ridley's injuries, you can't count on him, even if you keep him, that he's going to finish out the season. And then those younger guys, you don't know how much of a step they're going to take the next following year. So you almost are in a position where you have to address that position in a way that is going to, help your young quarterback develop in a hurry.
I'm looking at the list of free agent running backs. Number one on the list, someone who knows Robert Saleh quite well. That's Breece Hall of the New York Jets. He's 25 years old. His contract projection is 4 years, $54 million, according to The Athletic. The top two running backs, Breece Hall and Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker. And I think, Willie, history would suggest that you don't overpay for running backs in free agency. You don't give them a lot of years unless they are an incredible talent, such as Saquon Barkley or Derrick Henry, for instance. And I'm looking down the list of the running backs, maybe the running backs who would not break the bank. There's Rico Dowdle from Carolina, Javonte Williams, who's been around, Rashad White of Tampa Bay. The list is not very exciting, but we did talk about Kenneth Walker, but like how much would be too much to throw at Kenneth Walker? Breece Hall is intriguing because of his relationship with Robert Saleh. He's young, he's 25 years old, and he is a home run threat every time he touches the ball.
Breece Hall, no doubt, would be intriguing with Saleh as the coach because Saleh should know the person Breece Hall. If I remember correctly, he tore his ACL in his rookie year, if I'm looking at these numbers right, because he's only missed one game, one game a year for the last 3 years. He's been on the field, and his numbers have been just okay on a bad team. But he does catch the ball pretty well. There was a year he had 76 catches. So at 25, I am intrigued with him, but I don't know enough about Breece Hall, the person, to know if there's another level there. If you're only getting the numbers that he's put up for the money that you're suggesting people would pay, you could get 50 running backs to give you that with the same amount of touches. I would say not 50, but you see what I'm saying. It's more of a decent level. It's a Tony Pollard kind of thing. What I want is the next level. I want somebody who can give me more than Pollard has given me. That's what I would be looking for.
One texter says, I love our young wide receiver group, but I would love to see us get a true number one receiver to go with them. The problem is there really aren't any true number one wide receivers available in free agency.
No.
They don't become available.
Right. Mike Evans is arguably the best available free agent wide receiver. He's been there. He's done that. Gets 1,000 yards in his sleep, although that streak ended this past season because he was dealing with injuries. But he's 33 years old. I would not make that investment in Mike Evans. Alec Pierce, we've talked about at length. Great deep ball threat, but he is not a high volume pass catcher. When he does catch the ball, it's for 20 plus yards a lot of the time. But if you're going to pay Alec Pierce 4 years and $102 million, as the Athletic projects, you're going to want more than 50 catches out of him, even if he can take the top off the defense.
Yeah, he's going to be a guy that it's almost you to justify paying him that money, because now he slides into your number one position. And if you're going to pay him that much, he should almost double his catches. So he had 50 last year. So he needs to have damn near 100 catches in an offense that's going to utilize the pass game with the young quarterback that seems to be getting better. If you're going to pay him that type of money, that's what he need. Or those numbers are going to have to be 70, 80 catches, 1,400 yards, probably even more than that. But even that, he needs the touchdowns to match it. So could he be your number one? Yes, possibly.
Let me throw a name at you that may come as a shock, but ESPN had a story today listing one player from each team who could use a change of scenery. And guess who was listed underneath the Jacksonville Jaguars? Brian Thomas Jr. ESPN writes, quote, "This idea would have seemed ridiculous a year ago after Thomas put up 87 catches for 1,282 yards and 10 touchdowns in his rookie campaign in 2024. But Thomas seemed to be on a completely different page from Trevor Lawrence last season, even as the rest of the Jaguars were having success around the whiteout. Thomas's production fell to 48 catches for 707 yards and 2 scores. The Jaguars have Travis Hunter coming back. They signed Jacoby Myers to an extension, and Parker Washington had a breakout second half of the 2025 season. There's room here to trade Thomas, and his talent could fetch a high draft pick to help make up for the picks the Jags lost when they traded up for Hunter in 2025. It's certainly something worth considering."
He's young. I mean, he's productive. I don't know what happened last year.
He'll be 24 in October. So if you're looking for a true wide receiver, a true number one wide receiver, he did show in his rookie season. He has the ability to do that. And I am generally against the idea of the Titans trading assets for players right now. We've talked about this with the Predators, Willie. The Predators are not in the position to trade draft picks or prospects for players at this stage of their build. But if the Titans want to bring in a young wide receiver who can grow with Cam Ward, and they're not going to use the number 4 pick on, let's say, Carnell Tate to do that, is Brian Thomas the kind of player you would be willing to trade that asset for, considering how young he is and what he's already shown in the NFL?
I'm still not there. If the Titans were further along, then I might be in the market to trade if that's the last piece to the puzzle. But I'm not. I feel like for Jacksonville really to do this, you'd have to offer them something pretty good, a second or a first. Don't you think?
Yeah, he was a
He's
late
too
first
young.
rounder.
Yeah, I mean,
too
he's
young.
yeah. I mean, I think they're thinking we can salvage this guy.
ESPN,
They're not going to give him away.
ESPN suggested a trade between the Jaguars and the Bills. The Bills get Brian Thomas and a 5th round pick in 2026. The Jags get Keon Coleman after the Bills owner backed over him and then put it in reverse and put it back. Keon Coleman, the bus ran over him in Buffalo. It was Brian Thomas and a 5th for Keon Coleman in the 1st.
That makes more sense just where the Bills are. The Bills
Yeah.
are still trying to win with Josh Allen. The Titans are a completely different stratosphere.
And I think Brian Thomas, he does give you that ability. He's one of those guys that is a 3-level guy. I mean, he can run the short routes and be effective. He can run the intermediate routes and be effective, but he has enough speed to get down the field and be an explosive receiver for you. So what are you willing to give up? Because again, it's not like the Jaguars are going to give him away. you're going to have to give them something worthwhile. Not a number 1 pick, but you're going to have to give up a top 100 pick to get him.
Caleb says you would have to draft Carnell Tate at 4 for the Pierce signing to make sense.
So instead of signing Pierce, you would have to sign. Oh, they're saying getting Pierce and signing Carnell Tate.
Drafting Tate, signing Pierce. Caleb
And-
is saying it would only make sense to sign Pierce if you're drafting Carnell Tate.
That would be
So you would have.
loading the wagon
Yeah.
on one position group, which I don't know, could be good, but
Remember,
it's a lot to put into your wide receivers. They better be good.
I think Alec Pierce was the Colts' 4th highest targeted pass catcher last season. Tyler Warren, Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, and then Pierce, if I remember the order correctly.
But what it does is it keeps Pierce in his natural position.
Right.
And I'm not saying that the Titans are going to do this, or even if I'm, on board with it, because I'm more so like you, Willie. That may be too much on one position, even though it would help, but you have other areas of the team that you need to address. But if you did go that route, it would automatically slide everybody into their position, because I think Alec would slide, not Alec, but Pierce would
DK.
slide to the 2,
yeah,
and then Carnell Tate would be your number 1. So he
Yeah.
still function at the place where he feels comfortable being a deep threat. He's not doing all the mucky stuff. And
Yeah.
then by that, you may get your money's worth. But I think if you're asking him to be your bona fide number 1, I'm not sure you're going to get your money's worth.
one texter says you pay for the running back and the best wide receiver coach possible. Then you draft a wide receiver and plan on one of your young receivers to become that number 1 guy. We have good young talent. We're not getting a number 1 receiver from free agency. Don't waste the money. But then that leads to the age-old philosophical question, which we discussed with Trevor Maddich earlier in the week. What's more helpful to a young quarterback? A wide receiver or a potent defense that makes life easier for the quarterback on the other side of the ball?
I think all of those things, good players on your team help support your quarterback. Like I think you could have inserted, I thought you were going to say something about an offensive lineman, right? Or a great running back. I think we could make the case for any of the above, like which does the most, because it's direct and it's also indirect. But if you have really good receivers and a terrible offensive line, the quarterback still is probably going to struggle. So on the surface, the easy answer is the wide receiver directly helps the quarterback the most, probably. But let's hope that they've got the offensive line to a position where it is not a weakness. It may not be the biggest strength of the team, but let's hope it becomes a quasi strength next year.
615-737-1025. Our phone and text lines are driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. We will continue to take your thoughts on Titans free agency. What's the biggest trap they must avoid in free agency? 615-737-1025. But coming up next, what a night it was in SEC basketball. Some awesome games. And Vanderbilt, man, how close did the Commodores come to pulling off what would have been an epic comeback win? We will discuss all of that coming up next. 615-737-1025. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game.
All right, let's tell you about F&M Bank. Banking made easy on purpose. They want to relieve you of as much stress as possible when it comes to your finances. They do a tremendous job for their clients all around our listening area. 20 locations where you listen to our show. 6 of them over in Clarksville, as north as Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and then everywhere in between. West End Avenue, over in Murfreesboro, Mount Juliet, Springfield. You've heard me name off the towns, but if you don't hear your town, just go to the website, myfmbank.com, and find the nearest location to you. We take it to the bank every Friday on this show at 5:45 with our fun predictions for the weekend, and it's brought to you by F&M Bank. Banking made easy on purpose. Let them take some of the strain off of you and your financial life, whether you're a business owner or just trying to head up your family and try to get on the right foot financially. F&M Bank, banking made easy on purpose, member FDIC.
Nickel buries a 3 with 1.8 seconds. Got a chance.
so close for Tyler Tanner from half court at the buzzer. That was halfway down. And it would have been one hell of a comeback for the Commodores had Tanner's shot gone in. Missouri wins 81-80. Vanderbilt trailed by 21 points late in the second half. A furious comeback. Tyler Nickel hits a three with under 2 seconds left to set up the final possession. Tyler Tanner intercepts the pass from the baseline, heaves it up, almost went in.
I have absolutely no idea what Missouri was doing in the last 7 or 8 minutes with their
Not
press
trying
break.
to win.
With their press break, they had no clue. They did everything that you're not supposed to do when going against the press.
Mm-hmm.
Like, where is the worst place to throw the ball in bounds?
To the corners.
Exactly. And where did they throw it every
To the
time?
corners.
They threw the ball to the corner. It was amazed at how much they tried to give that game back to Vanderbilt. And if it lasted 30 more seconds, I think Vanderbilt would have won. It's a shame because Vanderbilt just they didn't shoot well. I didn't think they played bad. I just thought they got outshot by the home team. A Missouri team that is not a really good shooting team, day in and day out, shot better than they normally shoot. And Vanderbilt did not shoot well for the first 30 minutes. Then they caught fire at the end. Tyler Tanner single-handedly, I think, had 3 3-point plays. And I'm talking about the old style 3-point play where you'd make a steal, you'd go to the bucket, get fouled, and won. So that was bizarre. I was proud of myself for not flipping the game off because it was so over. It was one of those games that there was reviews. There was one particular, it turned out to be significant because there was a play. This is how crazy the replay system is getting now. Missouri challenged for a flagrant foul on Devin McLaughlin, and they won the challenge. And they actually got McLaughlin twice on flagrant fouls. I didn't know the rule.
Me either.
You can have 3 flagrant fouls in a game before you get ejected. I would have assumed maybe if you get 2 flagrant fouls in one game, you're out.
I thought you get, I thought
But
they
you
kicked you out of
get
the
3.
game.
So John Sunvold, who is a fun veteran color announcer who was on the call last night for SEC Network, he said, "Hey, if I'm Devin McLaughlin, I'm like, oh, I get 3? That means I got 1 more." He did not get the 3rd, but he had 4 fouls. But there was a play where they were reviewing him. He gets called for a flagrant. Mark Byington says, well, wait a minute. On the same play, I think Missouri had a flagrant against one of our guys. So they looked at that. They're looking at 2 things at the same time. It was ridiculous. It took forever. And, of course, Missouri wins both. They win their challenge. Vanderbilt loses their challenge. So the net result is Vanderbilt loses a timeout, which ended up being significant because when you're coming back, you need as many timeouts as you can possibly get. But I stayed with the game, and I'm really not sure why. I certainly contemplated turning the table. I did have a friend of mine call me this morning and go, what happened to Vanderbilt last night? They were terrible. I was like, did you see the end of the game? He's like, no, what happened? I was like, they lost by 1. He was like, what?
Well, I will sit here and say that once it kept past, I think it was the 6 or 5 minute mark, I'm like, man, all right, I'm going to give this a couple more minutes. Now I'm going to turn it off. I gave it a couple more minutes. I politely turned it off. But I saw at least 95% of the game. I hate that I missed them making it a comeback. But Missouri, they shot really well from the outside. Jaden Stone, he was lights out from the outside. They were getting 4-point plays. And Vanderbilt couldn't hit the broadside of a barn, especially in the first half. They had wide open 3-pointers, just couldn't nail them. I mean, Nickel, Tanner, the bunch. They just couldn't do what they normally do, and that's hit from the outside with wide open shots. I thought McLaughlin got a little bit out of character, especially when he got the tech and the foul, and they end up calling the friggin' 1. So they end up getting 4 free throws. They end up getting 4, and then they got the ball back because there was a foul on it too.
They needed all of those free throws.
Exactly. So I'm thinking like, man, this game is just about over. But they fought through it, and they put themselves in a position to make it a 1-point game. But again, I think those same things are rearing their ugly head with Vanderbilt, whether it be at times sloppy play, not hitting well from the outside. And I know a lot of teams go through this, but I think because Vanderbilt lacks the big men, true big men, they don't have enough length. They can't have those type games when all those things happen at once. And all those things happen at once against Missouri, against a team that now Missouri has beaten some really good teams.
They're talented.
They're what do they call
They're
it?
a bubble team. Yeah,
But
they're
I'm
right
saying
on it.
like their strength of schedule should lean
It's
more.
very
like,
high.
it's very
Yeah.
high, and they've beaten some really good teams in that span. And Vanderbilt's just one of them. Another team that they've beaten, a top 20 team. So this isn't a bad Missouri team.
No, so it's not a bad loss.
Exactly.
Losing them on the road. It's just a
But
missed
you could have.
opportunity.
That was a game you could have won.
Coulda won.
You should have won.
Should have. I don't know if I would say, but
Because they didn't play like they had a wide open 3-pointers that normally they hit, and they just wasn't hitting them.
that I agree with that. And you know what's interesting is they got back in time. It wasn't like, if you didn't watch it, if you flipped it off and said, well, maybe they made a mad run at the end and they almost had it. They got back within 2 possessions with, I don't know, a minute 40, close to 2 minutes left. Like they were right there. Chandler Bing actually had a 3 from the corner that would have tied the game with maybe a minute or maybe 45 seconds on the possession before. So it wasn't like they almost caught up. Like they caught up with enough time to win the game. And Missouri did just enough to not completely unravel. It was a weird atmosphere in their crowd. When that shot rimmed out on the last play, Missouri wins the game, but their crowd is just so shocked. They were quiet. Like, man, we won, but what in the heck were we doing?
We shouldn't have won. What do you think about
Like they weren't celebrating. They were like,
I'm glad we won.
won?
Yeah.
we didn't. I don't know if we deserved to win that game. Like they played as bad as you can play to still win.
What do you think of the young kid, Jaden Leverett, the big kid, 6'11" kid? He came in, played some. You could tell he's young too. He just looks young.
Yeah.
Big body, but I think he may have something there.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's improved since
Uh-huh.
the beginning of the season. They need him in some of these games to give them some minutes. So I'm hoping that he continues to improve. They've got a couple of guys in Tyler Harris and Mike James who I think are talented, but they're just in slumps. They don't have a lot of confidence right now. Neither one of them. They're guys who make plays. They're talented guys who are in their college careers have been scorers. So when they get in the game, they're looking to score. They have the ability to get their shot up, but they're not playing real efficient right now. So that's why I think they need Miles back.
Mhm.
And from what I'm told, there's a good chance that Miles will return on Saturday against Tennessee. They need him big time. But I think regardless, Leverett gives them, or I think it's Leverett. Is that how you say his name?
Leverett, yeah.
I think 8 to 10 minutes a game from him would be useful, especially against certain teams where they need a
Because they're
little
going to
extra
need
size.
that big body. Yeah.
Because I think when Vanderbilt can go small, that's a pretty good lineup against the right team. Pull those guys out. You've got 5 shooters on the court, and you can do that more when you have Miles, right? You can go small if you want. And so there's more versatility, especially with Leverett available. So I like how that's developing, but Miles is a huge piece that I hope is ready to come back and feeling good.
We were also treated to perhaps the best game of the season in college basketball. Alabama 117, Arkansas 115 in double overtime. Darius Acuff, 49 points in 50 minutes for Arkansas. LeBaron Philon had 35 points for Alabama. I walked away from the game early in the first overtime, and when I came back, I said, surely the game is over. And then I sat back down, still
Nope.
going on, double overtime. Acuff is a big-time player, and I am intrigued by the SEC men's basketball tournament, which of
Mhm.
course will be held here at Bridgestone Arena next month. The SEC field is not as star-studded as it was last season when the SEC was breaking records for the number of teams invited to the NCAA men's basketball tournament. But this tournament feels much more wide open. I think Florida is starting to separate itself at the top of the SEC, but Alabama's 9-4 in the SEC, Arkansas's 9-4, Tennessee's 9-4, Vanderbilt's 8-5, Kentucky's 8-5, Missouri's now 8-5. It does feel like that tournament here in roughly a month. It's really anybody's tournament. I mean, Florida's going to be the favorite,
Mhm.
but it would not shock me if any number of teams ended up walking away with the SEC tournament title.
Yeah, and it just may not be, Florida, because what would be, if they ended the season only losing 2 games within the conference, what would be more beneficial to them? To win the SEC tournament, or win a game or 2 inside the SEC tournament, rest, knowing you're going to get a number one seed. 'Cause
I
you're
don't.
in the.
I don't think Florida is really
don't
in the
think they-
running for a number 1 seed.
So you think they would
They've
have?
lost too many games to get
Yeah,
a number 1
they're
seed.
20-6 overall. I don't
They're
think they're a number
certainly
1 seed.
surging,
Yes.
and I think they're playing like a
So
team
you
that
would
could make
so
a run.
you
But I think
would-
they've
they would
lost
have
too
to win
many.
the SEC tournament in order to get a number 1 seed.
I think to even be considered, and I would still put them on the outside looking in, the Gators would have to run the table for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I still think 6 losses is a lot for a 1 seed most years.
Yeah, I would. But
But if they won out and they end up on a
Okay.
whatever that would be, a 14-game winning streak or something, or whatever the number would be, then certainly they would consider that.
I think you hand the number 1 overall seed at this point to Michigan until proven otherwise.
Well, that's
No, I'm not
That's
talking about
obviously
a
gonna be a
number
fun
1.
game to
I'm
watch.
not talking about a number 1 overall seed. No, that's not
One-
what I'm talking
right,
about.
right.
Yeah, I know they're not in the running.
these,
but the top
these are the
seed.
teams I would put ahead of Florida in the discussion for a number 1 seed right now. Michigan,
Yes.
Duke, Arizona, Houston, Iowa State, UConn, and Illinois. Those were the teams I would put ahead of Florida
Yeah,
in the number 1 seed discussion. Not number 1 overall,
Mhm.
but just for the 4 number 1 seeds in the tournament.
but for your argument, Derek, Florida is number 6 in the Ken Pom, and that's a high rating for a team with 6 losses. But it shows you how efficient and powerful they can be
Exactly.
when they're playing well, and they've certainly been playing their best. So maybe you don't rule it out. I would feel like that.
It's a
you know,
long shot, I would say.
It's a long shot. You've got some intriguing matchups coming up this weekend, right? You've got Michigan, Duke,
Oh, yeah.
and you've got Arizona, Houston. And so that might tell us a little bit part of the story here. But you're right. Michigan earlier this week went to Purdue and
kicked
won
the crap
handily.
out of the
Purdue
Boilermakers.
Purdue's number 8 in the Ken Pom.
Michigan is a
Michigan is a
buzzsaw.
good team.
Michigan
Michigan
won
is
at
a
Michigan
buzzsaw.
State,
They're
where they
big.
got way ahead of Michigan State. Like these are really good teams that Michigan's going on the road and beating fairly soundly. That's
Hey.
impressive.
They are a big team.
They're big,
and physical.
well-rounded.
They can shoot from the outside to play really good defense. Still not better than my Spartans, but
No, I think
still-
they're better than your
Nah,
Spartans.
nah, don't ever say that. Don't ever, that's blasphemy, man. We just wait till the tournament.
I
We ain't
am
worried
interested
about
to
it.
see how the game goes on Saturday between Michigan and Duke.
Yeah.
That'll be a barometer, I think.
Well, they've got the guy Mara, who is 7'3",
Yeah, that's the big fella.
255.
Yeah.
7'3",
But he
can move. He's not just a big stiff.
But it's almost like you look at him and you figure he should dominate the game, and he doesn't do that all the time.
No, you're right. He's
He's a good
they
player.
have other guys besides him, so you're like, you've got to concentrate on what.
He's
How do you
a-
say the other guy's name? Yaxel Lendeborg.
Yaxel. He's a step below Purdue's big man from last year. Was it last
Zach
year?
Edey.
Yeah, Zach Edey. He's a step below Zach
Definitely.
Edey. Yeah.
He's not nearly the force, the strength, but
He's not.
he can run.
He's not
Mhm.
taking 25 free throws a game.
No,
No,
exactly.
right.
No.
He did a couple
He's not that
years
kind
ago.
of offense player. But if you lob it up and you're not near him, he's going to catch it and dunk it. On the fast break, he can run the floor pretty well. Like they've just got a lot of good things going for him for Michigan. I'm really curious about how Duke matches up with them.
I am as well. Harlan Vingan will be in the crowd at Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C. He's double dipping. He went to the game on Monday in Durham. He's going to the game on Saturday in D.C. It's what he wanted to do in retirement. He wanted to be like a Duke groupie. Just follow the team
get your
around the
groupie
country.
on, man.
615-737-1025. Speaking of college basketball, there is a story in college basketball that is weird AF, which we will discuss coming up next. 615-737-1025. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan. We are broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service.
Hey, this is Derek Mason, and you heard me tell you about Dr. Lodge and his staff over at Cool Springs MD for some time. If you set out to lose weight, chances are it's not your first time setting a goal to shed some extra pounds only to face disappointment. But I got some good news because at Cool Springs MD, Dr. Lodge and his team understands the frustration of this cycle, and that's why they offer a different approach to weight loss. Their comprehensive weight loss program is led by Dr. Jeffrey Lodge and addresses the root cause of weight gain with tailored nutrition, exercise, blood test supplements, and more. They will customize a program specific to you and you only. So connect with Dr. Lodge at CoolSpringsMD.com today to schedule your appointment for a personalized weight loss plan just for you. That's Cool Springs MD, where your weight loss journey becomes a success story.
You saw it with Coach Steph, and I can't wait to hear what these guys say. We know that they can't win it without him. And we know they can't win it if he's only going to play 2 minutes in the second half.
Yeah.
So that's the obvious thing that Coach Self basically came to a realization on the podium today.
I think the interesting part is with this NIL era and the transfer portal, this has become much more transactional than we really thought about, from the standpoint that we can't separate the conversation of them winning a championship and him going to the NBA, because it's a
That's his
transition
journey.
year for him at the end of the day. If he can go straight from high school and go to the pros, he probably would have done it. At the end, I mean, that's how I see it.
Yeah.
So they really need him to win a championship. But if he's going to get in the NCAA tournament and you're going to load manage that part of it,
Wild.
why even be a part of it?
That was Jamal Mashburn on Kansas Jayhawks star Darren Peterson. And this story is weird AF, folks. Darren Peterson is considered by many the #1 prospect in college basketball this season. You'll read some mock drafts, some NBA mock drafts. Darren Peterson is expected to go #1 in a lot of those mock drafts. But he's missed, I would say, a third of Kansas's games.
I think
A
he's played
third to a
exactly half.
He's missed a significant amount of time. And last night, he pulled himself out of the game early in the second half. And he is being raked over the coals today. I heard Stephen A. Smith do his Stephen A. Smith thing on this. Jay Williams, you heard Jamal Mashburn there. I've heard people say, if I'm an NBA team with the #1 overall pick, there's no way I can take Darren Peterson. I can't rely on this guy. But is this a byproduct, Willie, of the NIL era? As you heard Jamal Mashburn say, this is a transitional year for Darren Peterson. He's only in college because he has to be, because you can't go directly from high school to the pros anymore. So is this a unique case, or do you think we may see more of this moving forward?
I just looked it up. He has played 15 of their 26 games. So he's missed 11 games. He's played 15. And in the 15, he has taken himself out of games a lot. He hasn't played the full game. And last night was an example, and it really came to a head. It was a national game on Turner, right? Mashburn is part of it. Jamal Mashburn, one of my contemporaries, a guy that back in the day when even the best usually stayed for 3 years, Jamal Mashburn was good enough to come out after 2 years. He was that good at Kentucky. But I think he touched on it very well. It's one thing to say, I'm only here for a year. But what this kid is starting to get a lot of, because for a while they tried to keep it beneath the surface. He had the flu. He had cramps. He's got this. He's got that. But it seems to be more apparent, and the silence is deafening because Peterson doesn't talk about it. Bill Self has tried to avoid it.
He was exasperated last night.
But last night, you could tell it was getting to him. Like, he hits a shot, Peterson does, and they were going to win the game. They were ahead. But he turns and like, okay, I'm good. Take me out. I'm done. And Bill Self was like, come on. Like, that has to be really tough, especially for Bill Self, who is used to having high-level recruits, one and dones. He's had plenty of those. And he's an authoritative. He's one of the more respected coaches in the game for the last couple decades. And he's got a guy that's basically telling him when he's willing to play and when he's not. So this is new. I've never seen this. The example has been made. Like Boozer for Duke, he's not doing that.
Nope.
Zion Williamson didn't do that.
Nope. Cooper Flagg didn't do it.
Cooper Flagg didn't do it. I mean, there's plenty of them. I don't
Not
remember
just good
any of the
players.
Kentucky guys who were one and done. So Calipari had a long list of those because nobody ever played that card.
None of
If
the
you're
other
on a team,
right.
you should be, especially if you go to Kansas, where they've got one of the best fan bases going, you got to be all in. I don't know about you, Derek.
Mhm.
I would, if I'm on that team, and especially if I'm a coach on that team, I have to seriously consider whether I want this guy on the team, if this is how it's going to be. There has to
Problem
be
is,
a talk.
He is so good when he
Well,
does play.
he's really
That's
good.
so good.
He's going to be the first pick in the draft. He's also got a circle of advisors, agents, all of that stuff. I have no idea what that's like on a daily basis. But at some point, don't you have to say, are you in or are you out?
I mean, listen, unfortunately, whether, we like it or don't like it, this is just the way it's going to be.
I hate that.
These players,
I don't just not like it. I
know,
hate it.
and I get it. But this is pre-NBA. That's what this is. And now that money,
But if you're getting paid, if we're paying you to come here, play
I understand
or
that.
don't come here.
But if you've given me all that money to play, who has the power? Me. I have the power
If
now.
I've already given you the money, I guess.
No, but either way, because this is we're not playing in an arena where you got to honor the contract both ways. You got to honor it no matter what.
It should be.
Should and what is are two different things.
I know,
You're
but this
absolutely
is
right,
the thing,
Willie.
though. Why are we saying this is okay?
I'm not
Because there's
saying
a
it's
lot of
okay.
money.
I am not saying there are a lot of things that I know isn't okay, shouldn't be happening. But at the moment, I just resigned to, okay, this is how it is. How do we navigate through it or work our way out of it so it can be better? The next go around will be better moving forward. And that is college sports, period. Now the tides have shifted. See, two sports, well, really three sports, where the owners got it wrong and now they're trying to get it back right. Baseball, basketball, and now college sports. You know why they got it wrong? Because the power is shifted completely to the players. And the owners or GMs or presidents or ADs, they don't have a lick of power whatsoever. They don't. The NFL and hockey has done it the right way. A salary cap. There's things you can do and things you can't do or shouldn't do, let's say that. But there are some bylaws, some guidelines in all of this. There's no bylaws or guidelines in this. The players rule supreme. And I'm not saying it should be. I'm not saying it should be. I'm not saying the ADs that. I think there should be an even medium for everybody. I think there should be where we're working together, not against one another.
Yes, it should come down to not what the rules are or what you can get away with. It should be about team, honor, commitment. When you sign up to play for a team, you play. It's just no different when you're a parent and you have a son or daughter that says, "Yeah, I don't know if I want to go to the game today." Or maybe I don't want to go to practice today. What does a parent usually say? Well, you signed up for this. If you don't want to play at the end of the season, then you don't have to play next year. But when you sign up, you got to go to the practice unless something comes up that, is a legitimate excuse. But you can't just skip practice. So I don't get this. And here's the other problem. Look at Kansas's roster. You would think on a program like Kansas, you would have at least one or two guys on the team that would be like, hey, I've been at this program for 4 years. This is one of the best programs in the country, like his peers. It's one thing for the coach to do this, but it would help if he had two or three other guys who are seniors that have played for 4 years. I want to win a championship at Kansas. They got a bunch of other guys that they just signed up that are first year or second year at Kansas. So this is another thing that contributes because everybody's coming in for the Bucks, right? Very few guys are staying for 4 years at the same school. But tell me,
when these kids,
even at Kansas,
but when these kids see guys get injured or girls get injured and messes up their draft status or stock or, all this stuff, that goes on prior to you getting, they're thinking in their head, man, I'm not playing this many minutes. I'm not. I'm pulling myself out. I'm tired. I'm pulling myself out. Let somebody else play. I get that you want these individuals to play hard and play fully. When they're on the floor, are they playing hard? I would tend to believe they are playing hard when they're on the floor.
I think so.
But now they have the power to say, you're not running me in the dirt. And whether that's right or wrong, that's not what I'm arguing. I'm saying they're saying to themselves, you're not running me in the dirt. Let me get some rest. I'm going to sit down here until I'm ready. Because once I get on the court again, I'm going to give you 100% of me and I'm going to help you. But the problem is, if you only got really one of those guys, when he sits or she sits, it changes what you do offensively and defensively.
if I were a senior leader on that team, I'd be going to that kid every day and say, "Oh, you practicing today, Peterson? You in? Oh, you're not practicing.
That
You don't feel good.
Willie,
You don't
that don't
feel
work
good
no more. That don't work no more.
I mean,
It doesn't work anymore,
look,
Willie.
I am not a fan of hazing or code red or anything like that, but that's the kind of guy that would get a code red.
Willie want to
back
get his
in the
man
day.
a code red.
That's what it used to be. That's what used to happen. And it was more, that's why you did it. You knock a guy down a peg
Willie,
that
you're
needs
right.
to get knocked down.
You are right.
And
there
you
were
do-
many guys
and you
sent
do,
into
and you
a
do
code
it in
red.
the right, and you do it the right way. I'm not saying
You
know,
dump their clothes in the water or something. You do something so they
Right,
know
right.
next time. Yeah,
that's what
I
I'm
get
saying.
that. But there's no code reds anymore. There's none.
Right, because people freak out if you go to and look, I'm not saying that you do it on a level that's uncomfortable or something, but these types of things, that's why you bond, that everybody is on a team, everybody's together.
Bill Self, he hasn't got, you know what? Bill Self hasn't gotten to a point where he's disgusted by it. You know, want to know why? Because he did the thing that I believe the Kansas State coach should have did. He didn't throw his player under the bus. He had a hard time explaining it, sort of,
Right,
kind of,
because
but he didn't necessarily throw his player under the bus because he understands, like, yeah, I can go Tom Cruise and I can go all crazy and throw everything. I can do that, but I can't because that next recruiter's watching me. That next 5-star guy that I got to bring in here to hopefully win a championship, they're watching me. And if they see me go off on this person, no matter what type of character they have, they may not want to come here because of that.
I wonder how it's going to affect their chemistry going down the stretch and then into the tournament. Is this kid going to play in the tournament, or are we going to see this in the second round of the tournament?
Order that code red.
You still have time, Kansas. A well-timed, tasteful
Code
red.
red.
That's what I'm saying. So, Adam, from a media standpoint, if you're a beat writer for Kansas, don't you think there needs to be a little bit more transparency? Like, it would help them if they were up front and say, okay, this is what we're doing. We've talked about this. We're on the same page. We've agreed. This is how Peterson is going to play. That would help, because right now there's a lot of speculation about what is or is not happening beneath the surface. We're just watching what happens at the game.
Yes. And I know that teams protect this information like I don't understand why teams protect this sort of information like their state secrets. I understand that you don't want to give anything up, but sometimes being close to the vest can actually be a detriment, to your point, Willie, because it opens the door for speculation. If Kansas wanted to get out in front of this, the Jayhawks could. They have chosen not to, and that's why you've got Stephen A. Smith and Jay Williams and others just ripping Darren Peterson's ass today.
They are ripping him today.
They are. He is public enemy number one today, 615.
And it is a fair question.
Yes.
If you have the first pick in the draft, is this the guy you want on your team?
It's a good question. 615-737-1025. Jonathan Hutton from Hot Mike with Hutton Withrow will join us coming up next. We'll get his thoughts on a lot of things, maybe even Darren Peterson. 615-737-1025. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game. D-Mace, Vingan and Donick, 1025 The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, and David Janes here with you. We hope you are having a wonderful Thursday, a stress-free start to your commute home. Joining us via Zoom, our dear friend, Jonathan Hutton from Hot Mic with Hutton and Withrow on Outkick. Hi, Hutton. How are you?
I am wonderful. One of my favorite visits of the week here. Always enjoy coming on the show with you guys.
Well, we appreciate the kind words. So you conducted, along with Chad Withrow, an interview with Tony Vitello when you were at the Super Bowl. And Vitello seemed to step in it earlier this week when he brought up the end of his tenure at Tennessee unprompted during a random news conference at Giants spring training. What did you think of that news conference? Is there any part of you that is concerned about how his transition to the big leagues is going to go?
The only concern I would have, and the only reason why I was hesitant to be like, yeah, he's going to crush it in MLB, is how he relates to the players, right? Instead of going directly to the player, he's going to have to go to a translator, for instance. You know, there's a middleman in some cases. He acknowledged that with us in the chat that we had with him. He references Tennessee a lot. I mean, that's his background, really his backbone of coaching. That's his success story. That's why he is where he is. Eventually, he's going to have enough experiences of his own in Major League Baseball to reference something else. But that's his reference point right now. You know, some would call it a crutch. He's hired because of that, though. And until he produces results, everyone's going to question him. Even those that want to give him a chance are saying we shouldn't have to answer or ask these questions about whether or not he's ready. I hope he does have success because it opens the door for a lot more possibilities than some of the retreads that we see in coaching across the board. It's not just baseball, but the fact we haven't seen this happen before is kind of crazy to me, given some of the successes that we've seen from baseball managers at the college level compared to the pros, and the relationships that some can have and forge. I think that's key. Vitello's got to have that relationship with the players. As long as it comes across genuine to them, I think he'll be fine.
I just thought from a journalistic standpoint, I was putting myself in the shoes of the reporters who were there covering Giant spring training. I thought it was an unforced error by Tony Vitello because he came prepared to talk about that. Nobody asked him about the reporting surrounding his the end of his tenure at Tennessee. It must have been on his mind, and he walked up there and sat on the bench knowing that that's what he wanted to discuss. And when we were discussing,
and he discussed it with us too, by the way.
When
he's talking about like on the way out with how things went. Yeah, sure.
And when you say, Hut, for your audience, it's relevant, but for the San Francisco Giants media, I'm not sure it's relevant anymore.
Agreed. I don't know. Look, to be fair to this, did he receive a question or was it
no?
He
showed up to his news conference. He sat down on the bench and he said, "When did y'all think I was taking this job?"
He started
and then just went with a TikTok of everything, not like the website TikTok, but a timeline, a TikTok of all of the reporting and what actually happened leading up to his departure from Knoxville. It was just strange that was what he was fixated on that day.
And he knew we were going to get into that before we even chatted with him or walked up to the stadium that day. So I mean, he's clearly got a lot that he wants to get off his chest. That's for sure. I think it's apparent this was not an easy decision for him. And if we're just being human about it, the fact that he's still talking about it tells me it's still in his mind and he's still contemplating whether or not he made the right call.
He made a
am I wrong in thinking that? If I'm him and I'm still doing this and harping on it, I'm still trying to convince myself as to why I left.
He made a cryptic comment during the course of that news conference. He's like, I'm paraphrasing here. He's like, maybe it would have changed the course of history if I had known who leaked the information. Something along those lines. Like, that's a strange thing to say.
Yeah.
Is he suggesting that if he had found out who leaked the news, he wouldn't have left Tennessee? Like,
well, he was that a Saturday? There was a Saturday where all this stuff got out, and he had not. I don't believe he had even addressed the team yet to that point. And there was a basketball game or a football game, something going on. I can't remember the timetable here, guys. Where there was a game on campus. He was going to the game and ended up not going after not being able to address his team. There was something with the timing of all that he doesn't feel like was just coincidence. Let's put it that way. And that's really what bummed him out after what he had done with his team and what the team meant to him.
We were just discussing the Darren Peterson situation at Kansas, which has been getting a lot of attention today.
He tapped out again?
He did tap out again last night. Is this a byproduct of the NIL era? That a star player can sort of call a shot and say, hey, I'm done.
In basketball, I just view it different because I'm used to seeing these guys kind of take time off in the NBA. If this were football, this would be very jarring to me. The fact that it's hoops, it should be. The NIL era has allowed it to take place now, maybe in a more prominent position in college basketball. But I have to say, I'm kind of used to seeing this on the hardwood, given the fact that we have the load management or trying to improve that now. And in the NBA, it's been a huge problem. This is just straight business now. Still, it's not a good look. It doesn't make me think that this guy's got a great business acumen because he's doing the load management thing over and over and over again. At the same time, he's with a program that's known for playing great basketball and having great guys on the bench. I don't know why they continue to put up with it, given the fact that it's such a distraction.
Well, they have to put up with it because they're star players, and the players.
Well, I know he's the number one guy. Yeah,
the players, whether it's men or women, and I understand you don't see this on the women's side much, if at all, but they understand they got the juice right now. And if you want to obtain one of these individuals, these guys, these 5-star guys that are projected to go high in the draft, then it's almost like you got to placate them. You have to.
Mace, you made it to a level that.
But I can't. But this is old sports.
Will ever make.
That was old sports.
But it's still the same mentality, though. You made it to the level based on your mentality of how you approached the game and how you trained. And I mean, you took a skill that was fantastic, and you made it into, a career.
But what
some guys possess the skill set but never achieved their ultimate goal.
No, you're absolutely right. But what the professional leagues have taught these minor leagues, because that's what they are, is that you need to care more about your body than anything else. I give you max 100% when I'm on the court, but when I tap and say I need out, I want out. It happens in football a lot, whether you know it or not. We see guys tapping their helmet all the time. Why? Sure. Because they go 3 or 4 plays, they get out. Instead of old school, I didn't want to come out, but I understood that was my mentality because that was the mentality of everybody. The mentality of the majority here is, let me load management. Why? Because the NFL has taught me, the NBA has taught me, this is what you do, is you load management.
I think a lot of it, too, is agent related.
Yeah.
Where, like, in the old era, the old sports that you're saying, you were going for the 4, 5, 6 year contract. Now it's going for the 2 or 3 year deal, trying to get another signing bonus before you turn 30. And you leave a year early from college instead of wait a year. That way you get your second contract a year faster than you would if you waited for 1 more year in college. Those are all factors that guys are being told to pay attention to. Is there a rhyme or reason to when he's sitting out with these ankle injuries or the tightness or the quad problems, or like, are there specific? Is there a pattern, or is this very random?
I think it's random. It's not predetermined. That's the other thing that Seth Davis made this point on social media, and that he said, when you say load management, usually that is a predetermined thing. Okay, I'm going to play this game, but I'm going to sit the next one out.
Right, you're monitoring minutes, and I got you.
And it has not been like this. It's been within games. He's taken himself out. He couldn't play against Arizona, a huge game. Is he had the flu?
He said he had the flu.
Said he had the flu. So there's just a lot of odd stuff, and they're not upfront with what the program is. Like, if you have a program and it is load management, then talk about it. Let everybody know. I don't know what the secrecy is about it.
I just don't. In today's in basketball, and such a the team building aspect of it, they won that game against Arizona anyway. I believe
they did.
The fact that they did that, I would listen to my roster in my locker room. I mean, are they okay with this? Because they're clearly not following.
That's a great question.
But that's one
mean,
game
I would-
compared
I would
to 3 or
follow-
4 in the
I
tournament.
wouldn't be. If I were in that locker room, I would not be.
They're
good with it.
talented enough to win. They're beat Arizona without him. Like, to me, it's more of a gel. I would, if I'm Bill Self, I mean, I've got to be careful about what I say with a dude who says he's injured, because it's tough to just play doctor, especially with everything that anybody that says they're hurt, they're hurt. But I tend to say, guys, let's huddle up. And what do you guys want? What does my leadership of my team think about this? If they embrace him, they do that. If not, I mean, again, they're talented enough to win without him, and this could actually be something that propels them forward. It doesn't hold them back. I don't. It depends on what the internal vibe is versus what we're skeptical of on the outside.
You know why they're not going to say anything? Because those guys on that bench are just like him, and they're hoping that, okay, you want to take 3 or 4 minutes off? That means now I play, because otherwise I'm not getting out there on the court. So I'm sure everybody that's behind him, they're like, good. I get that. For me, that's more playing time. For me, that's another opportunity to what?
Yeah.
Get, earn more money by showing them
Sure.
that I can play. So they're not going to complain.
Think about being an NBA coach now, dealing with this. No way, man. I don't even know why I got the job.
I mean, is it harder in the NBA or is it
Probably the
now
same.
getting to that level in college when you have this? It's a really interesting question, how you deal with it if you're the coach. I wonder, Hud, if that is a little bit why we're seeing some of the guys going old school and lighting
Just
them up
going off.
publicly. I wonder if it's related
Yeah.
at all.
It depends who the coach is, Willie. Like Mick Cronin, come on, man.
Yeah, he's been doing this for 20 years. So I
Mick
don't think
Cronin
he's
is
changed.
upset about the meals on the team plane flying back cross country. I don't. It just depends the coach to me, and how much we've heard from certain coaches before. And this is why we're seeing coaches opt for the CBS studio more so than being on the baseline coaching against an opponent while we watch the game on CBS. It is a 24/7, 365 job. And then you actually get to the moment where you get to coach and you still have to deal with this on the last minute deal. The anxiety that would come with whether or not your full team's going to be there and locked in for a big game, just in Kansas's standpoint, or is Peterson going to play tonight or not? We don't know. It's the morning of the game. We don't know. Is he going to cramp up? Is he not? What does the team doctor say? What's he saying now? Middle of the game too, as you come up with a strategy and you're down by 4 with you're going to the second half down by 4 at halftime. Is this dude going to be there for you? That's why I would lean towards just trying to galvanize the rest of my team more than placating to him. But I would love to see the contract that he's under with Kansas. What are the details of that?
That's a good question. People have wondered. Let's switch gears. We had a discussion earlier today about Breece Hall with the previous history with Robert Saleh. Do you think that's a fit? And would it be worth? I mean, we know it would be a pretty decent investment if you went down that road.
Yes. Look, I think there's a very specific way that we'll see Daboll utilize the running backs. And given the fact that Spears has had the injury history that he's had, I think they need to go that path through the draft, that path through free agency. But I think this is more about making sure that the offensive line is as a one-piece unit, a unified group as possible this offseason. Then going after a 1 or 2 big name tailbacks. Looking at the teams that have won the Super Bowls recently, how they're built, it's not like they lead the league in rushing, or quite frankly, it's not like they come close to it during the regular season. Daboll's going to use the run to control the pace of games, and it's going to hypothetically benefit his quarterback, Cam Ward, getting out of the pocket, having an option outside of the pocket and passing downs as well. Breece Hall's that dude, but I don't think you have to break the bank at the position to go Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker III in order to have success running the football. I think you can do that with Tony Pollard, for instance, and I think you can do that going through the draft and having Tajay Spears as another running back to have a 1-2 punch. Breece Hall to me is more of the bell cow type system, and I think in terms of what Saleh did offensively, I think it's more about what Brian Daboll wants on his offense, having the autonomy to build that group the way he wants to.
Jonathan Hutton from Hot Mike with Hutton Withrow has been our guest on D-Mays, Vingen, and Donick. He joins us every week on the program. Hutton, as always, great stuff. We'll catch up next week.
You guys ready for arm length and hand size?
No,
and everything else?
no,
Pass
God, God, no.
His arms are.
Hey, have you guys heard
His
that?
hands are.
He has a 9-inch hands.
Have you heard that Ruben Bain's arms are small? Have you heard this?
Oh, you're gonna hear a bunch
Have
of
you
this.
seen this? Have you heard
His
about
arms
this?
are short.
I've heard it
You're
too
gonna
much
hear a bunch of
already.
it. Yes.
I mean,
Heard
look,
it too much
I
already.
get it. Is the NFL Combine next week?
Yes, it is.
Oh God. But I know that this is part of the process. But like, we're measuring dudes' arms and hands. I mean, come on, it's a little weird. I get it. We got to get all the information we need. But Ruben Bain's short arms, that's somebody's fantasy team name for next season. I guarantee it.
So, hey, real quick, can I just a question to pose, and maybe we can come up with this before the end of the week.
Sure.
What is a great number if we get USA Canada gold medal and it's 8 a.m. on Sunday morning live?
So if
Is
I
it 8
a.m. Sunday morning live?
It's 7 a.m. Central, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
I believe it's
Oh,
8.
man.
I believe it's 8 a.m.
If
Eastern.
this- and I'm not trying to say it's going to be bad. I'm saying, like, I'm discussing it because it's carryover from the Four Nations face-off. Like,
Right.
I think if it's promoted right, this could be something that's really interesting just to follow, to see how many people wake up and do this.
So if I recall correctly, Hutton, the average viewership of the Four Nations face-off final between USA and Canada was around 9.3, 9.4, 9.5.
It was the most watched game on ESPN ever, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it peaked at more than 10 million. So is the game on over the air NBC?
I think it would be.
Okay. It's
I
not.
would hope so.
Yeah, it's
I
not
think
on
it better be.
Peacock or USA or whatever. At 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern.
5 a.m. Pacific.
They should put it free on Peacock so people can drive to church and watch this thing. I'm serious. Like,
I would say, I mean, I would like them to get back to the number they got for the Four Nations face-off, but that was on ESPN, and I believe that was in prime time, right?
yeah, and they'll air this in prime time too.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, like, and if we know that, if you know in advance that the United States wins, you're tuning in for the replay anyway.
That's a
But
good point.
sports is such a DVR proof branch of the media tree that I'm curious to see how many people want to watch it live. I would be one that would wake up and watch this live, and I few and far between when it comes to matches or games that would make me want to do that. This would be one of them.
Let's continue this conversation. Hutton, thanks for a great idea.
Yeah, sorry.
No.
You guys would know, not me.
It's a great idea. We'll continue this on the other side. 615-737-1025. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingen, 1025 The Game.
Hey, if high interest credit cards or other loans are hurting your financial game right now and just taking a bite out of you every month, going, man, this is high bills, I don't have, then let Loan Pronto tap the equity in your home and get the cash you need so you can change the game. You can pay off the credit card bill. They'll give you the cash out of your home's equity with a better mortgage rate. Nail that credit card bill, pay off that car loan, and improve your monthly budget. Corey and Jack did this exact same thing with Loan Pronto. In days, they got $160,000 out. They kept their 3% mortgage intact. They didn't need an appraisal. With that cash, they wiped out all their credit cards and 2 car loans. And the net result, they saved $2,000 a month. These are the great examples that Loan Pronto is helping people with day in and day out. Just call them, 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. Get your life back. Slash your monthly payments. Pay off the credit card bill. 615-499-5780 or loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
D-Mace, Vingan, and Donick, 1025 The Game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. Let's continue the conversation that Jonathan Hutton had with us before he hopped off. The gold medal game and the men's Olympic hockey tournament is Sunday morning at 7:10 a.m. Central on NBC. 7:10 a.m. Central. Of course, Team USA has to get there first. The Americans take on the Slovaks tomorrow, a 2:10 p.m. Central puck drop on Peacock and NBC and wherever else. So we are all hoping that Team USA will make it to the gold medal game, presumably against Canada in the gold medal game. UC Soros may have something to say about that. It's Finland versus Canada tomorrow at 9:40 a.m. Central. But I am wondering how invested fans around here are in this tournament. Because as the two of you have pointed out quite astutely, Team USA has been playing every game at 2:10 p.m. Central. So if you have a regular 9 to 5, you probably haven't seen a minute of this tournament unless you have
The flexibility to
yes.
make an appointment to do it, right?
Exactly.
Right.
You know. So, but I think there's probably a lot of casual fans that aren't interested enough to change their schedule around their regular workday, which is when all of the games have been going on.
Right. And what was great about the Four Nations face-off format, number one, there were 4 nations. This tournament, there are teams involved that didn't really have a shot, of course. That's how it works in the Olympics. Italy and Denmark and who else would I put in that category? Latvia, right?
Yeah. Scrappy teams that may pull a big upset on a blue moon. but
Right.
Winning the tournament is a real tough task for them.
Yeah. So we're in the final 4, and the top 4 seeds in the tournament are still alive. Canada is 1, US is 2, Slovakia is 3, Finland is 4.
And we should point out, for those that don't pay that much attention, Slovakia is a huge story
Yes.
getting to where they are. They are not the third best nation in world hockey, but they've earned that seed because they've played way above their weight.
Yeah, they're the party crashers
Yes.
in this tournament. They're a young team. They have 7 NHL players on their roster, led by recent number 1 overall pick Juraj Slafkovsky of the Montreal Canadiens, who's had a really good tournament. So it's not going to be a cakewalk for Team USA tomorrow in the semifinals. But I feel like entering this tournament, I was expecting more buzz because of the success of the Four Nations face-off. As we discussed with Hutton, 9.3 million viewers tuned in to watch the gold medal championship round, whatever you want to call it, of the Four Nations face-off last year between the U.S. and Canada. 9.3 million viewers on ESPN. 10.4 million viewers at its peak. But that was a primetime game. And again, you did not have to work through the group stage and these massive differences in talent. You had 4 top nations: Canada, the United States, Sweden, and Finland. And so I have been a bit surprised by the lack of buzz there's been, but I do think a lot of it, to your all's point, is the timing of the games is just not conducive to people tuning in unless they're really invested in it.
But based on the numbers, just looking at Team US men's hockey, it averages 4.3 viewers for their Group 3 stage. So there's 2-1.
I did not see that.
Yeah, so it's up from what it was in Salt Lake City Olympics, from best since 2002. So it seems like they're getting the viewership, maybe because now I don't know if that's all. I think that's all. That's each game. It says U.S. men's hockey teams 2-1 overall victory against Sweden in 2020 Milan Olympics, averaged 6.9 million viewers on NBC and Peacock. So, but it depends. What time did that game come on?
2:10 p.m. Central.
So people are up watching it. So this was coming on a little bit earlier. You think you may get half of that?
I would hope that for the gold medal, if they promote it well, and it's Sunday morning, it's not a weekday morning, right? I think now maybe some people have a little fun on
But you gotta
Saturday night. You're
expect-
going to bed pretty
You gotta
late.
expect sports bars to be open too. Are the sports bars
Yeah,
gonna be
see,
open
you're
that
going to
early?
lose that. I think you're going to
Yeah.
lose that. But I would hope that people would make it a point to want to watch the USA playing for the gold medal. They have not won the gold medal since 1980. Now tomorrow's game, I am scared because Slovakia has played so well. They've got a thing going, right? They're not supposed to be there, but they have a tight-knit team coached by a former Predator, by the way, Vladimir Orzak, who was a very good player in the early years where, and if you listen to Barry Trotz last night talk about those early teams, they had no budget at all. They were absolutely taking guys off the scrap heap and making them the best players they could find. Orzag was a great example of that. And now here he is coaching Slovakia. Like Adam mentioned, they have 7 NHL players, but the 7 are that, the right 7 can do a lot of damage. Like Sefkovsky is a talent, and he's been excelling in the Olympics. 4 years ago when he was, 17? And the NHL players weren't there. He was the star of the tournament, which is what made him the first overall pick. Dalibor Dvorsky is a talented kid who was a first-round pick. He's only 20 years old. But he, on that team, they look to him. Then they've got some of these veteran guys that just play in Europe that know how to play. They know how to play for Slovakia. So I think the U.S. has to be ready to play.
And they have
tomorrow.
a goaltender who is capable of stealing
He's
a
been
game.
playing out of his mind.
Lucas Dostal of the Anaheim Ducks.
No, he's the Czech.
Oh, sorry, not Czech. That's right. Sorry, I got my countries crossed there.
But the guy they have is a guy that doesn't play in the NHL, but he's been playing out of his mind.
Right.
Halabai.
Right. He's the AHL goaltender.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
And he's been playing great.
Sorry to my Eastern Europeans out there.
Right. And I still don't know all the history, but you just wonder if you had those like they used to be when it was Czechoslovakia. If you put those two teams together, you'd have a heck of a team, right? But that's obviously no longer the case. But the U.S. has to take care of business tomorrow. But if it's USA versus Canada and they promote it well, I think you're going to have a really good audience. But it's a great question because all of those variables that you're talking about, it's on network TV, it'd be free TV, and it would be for a gold medal in the Olympics against 2 teams that have a recent history. You just had today a spectacular game between USA and Canada that went to overtime. So I think you would have an Olympic vibe there. And Canada has beaten the USA twice in the final in the last several Olympics. So the rivalry's there, and the U.S. has not won the gold since 1980. It's a lot of reasons to watch, even if you're not a hardcore hockey fan.
I would agree with that. And Canada has not ruled out Sidney Crosby from this tournament. It looked bad yesterday.
I would be surprised if he plays in the semis.
Maybe he can do his best Willis Reed impression. But here's the interesting thing. If he can't play, Team Canada has to have a captain. You know how in the NHL, if, for example, when Roman Josi is out of the lineup, they don't slap the C on Philip Forsberg's jersey. In the Olympics, they have to have a captain. It'll probably be Connor McDavid. And that's sort of the symbolic passing of the torch, right? From Crosby to McDavid. I am really interested to see how UC Saros will do tomorrow. As you said, Willie, you can have a really good game as a goaltender against Team Canada and still give up 3 or 4 goals more, just because of the incredible firepower on that team. So UC Saros has had a strong overall performance in the Olympics. Like most goalies, there have been a couple of goals he wishes he had, but overall, he's been steady. And I want to see what he's going to do tomorrow, having to face Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon and Macklin celebrating and just go on and on and on. So I am fascinated to see how he specifically performs tomorrow.
Yes, and Finland is a team that knows they cannot outgun the Canadian team. Nobody can. So you have to defend and then be opportunistic. And so I think that's going to be the key to the game is how well can they contain Canada, because Canada is going to take the game to you. They have the depth to do it. They have the superstars to do it. So you're probably going to need some block shots. You're going to need some big saves. You might even need the post to bounce your way once or twice in the game. And then you've got to find a way to, when you have a chance to score, to make a play. Finland does not have as many playmakers, but they've got a couple. Now, if Finland had
Barkov.
Alexander Barkov, that might be a little different how you could play. But they are missing that. Finland's done well to get to this point without arguably their best all-around player in Barkov, who they didn't have for the Four Nations last year either. So I think Canada and U.S., short story, right? They're heavy favorites in these games. USA more so just because Slovakia doesn't quite have the firepower. Finland's a good, solid team that I would expect to play really hard. They'll be physical.
They're
They'll
scrappy. The Finns are
They'll
scrappy.
be really scrappy. And I hope UC Saros plays well and keeps them in it. Because the one thing about Canada, they're supposed to win. And you could tell in that game yesterday, they were feeling the pressure. When it was close, I think they were looking at each other going, oh my gosh,
yeah.
it's still 2-2. Oh my gosh, we're behind. You know, they hadn't been behind in a long time. Suddenly they're down, and they had to overcome that. And they were able to do it barely, but it took a great play by a guy who hadn't really done anything in Nick Suzuki, right? He was on the verge of like, what do we do with this guy? And he made the play of the tournament to keep him alive.
Finland only has one player on its roster that does not play in the NHL. So Finland has an impressive roster. To your point, Willie, they've got a lot of scrappy players. Sebastian Aho, Mikael Granlund,
Yes.
Eric Haula, Arturi Lehkonen, Anton Lundell, Mikko Rantanen.
Right.
Rantanen is,
He's a star.
yes, he's a star.
He's a legit star. Aho, I'd say, is a legit star.
Yeah, I would.
Granlund on this team is a very important driver
The captain.
of the offense.
Team
Yeah, he's
captain
the
of
leader. And I don't know that we've talked about this enough, but his bounce back since his days as a Predator is remarkable. And I'm happy for him, the person, because, and it's too bad that he was going through what he was going through when he was with the Predators, because I think he would have done, he had his moments as a Predator. He certainly wasn't a bad player, but he was a better player before, and now he's back to, I think, the player he was before he was in Nashville.
615-737-1025. By the way, one texter says, I took 3 days off of work to watch Olympic hockey, and it was well worth it.
All right.
Especially with
Well,
all
there
the
you go.
There's a
overtime
hockey
games.
fan.
That's what I'm talking about.
Salute to you, my friend. That's how you do it. 615-737-1025. We will wrap up the show. I will allow Willie and Derek to offer me some advice. We will do that next. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan, 1025 The Game.
If you've injured yourself in a motorcycle accident, go to lawtigers.com for your free case evaluation. Even if your accident was months ago, you have nothing to lose by calling Law Tigers. Insurance companies wants to pay out as little as possible, or frankly, nothing at all. Law Tigers fights to get you the compensation you deserve and doesn't get paid until your case has been settled. Look, they understand how much your bike gear is worth to you and what it means to you. So they will help you all get it all repaired, or better yet, replaced. So call 1-800-LAW-TIGERS or visit lawtigers.com. Law Tigers is powered by Freeman and Fuson, and you can find them in Nashville, located at 2126 21st Ave South. And don't forget, go to predatorsbike.com to enter to win a custom Nashville Predator Indian motorcycle signed by their entire team, courtesy of Law Tigers in Music City, Indian. That's Law Tigers, Tennessee's motorcycle lawyers.
D Mace, Vingan, and Donick 1025. The game. Willie Donick, Derek Mason, Adam Vingan here with you. In case you missed it at the beginning of the show, I have an announcement to make. Today is my final day on the show as a parent of one, because my wife and I are expecting our second child, and she's coming tomorrow. She was not supposed to come tomorrow, but after my wife had a doctor's appointment today, they suggested, yeah, she should come.
She's like, I'm out of this joint.
At first, they suggested she should come today. So I was prepared to go to the hospital today, but then we were told you could wait till tomorrow. So I will be there at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Looking forward to that.
The baby said, I need a little bit more sleep in here.
My wife did send me a picture of an ultrasound today, and our child was sticking her tongue out.
Yeah.
So
y'all thought it was going to be yesterday, didn't
Probably
y'all?
won't be the last time she does that to you, Adam.
Exactly.
Right. So
just a precursor.
I'm anxious. I mean, I've been a dad now for 4.5 years, so I feel like I kind of know what to do. But it's my first girl. Y'all are girl dads. I can get the hat now that says girl dad.
Nah.
No, I can't do
not,
that.
I'm not. That's just me. I'm not big on the whole girl dad, boy dad,
Well,
and girl mom. I'm not big on
When
that.
when you two were raising your wonderful girls, I don't think there was such thing as a girl dad. That's like a new
Yeah.
new.
I
thing.
did hear the term a few times for sure.
I'm gonna hand it over to Willie first, because Willie he has a little bit more experience at it than me, a little bit longer. than
I
me.
do.
Well,
It's
no,
close.
they maybe yes,
They're
close.
about the same.
Yeah,
They're close
about
to the same age.
Yeah, you're
right?
right. They're both about the
Both
same age.
college
Yeah,
graduates.
exactly. So
Bailey might be a
whatever.
little bit older than Evie, I think. Evie just graduated last year.
Yeah, so she
Bailey's
is.
been out of
She's-
college for a couple years,
she's
right?
about 4 years older than Abby. Yeah, you're
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah, 3-4 years
Okay,
older
so
than
yeah,
Abby. Yeah.
Derek's got it. He's the veteran of the group.
What are the differences in ages of your children?
Mine are 3 years apart.
Mine's 3 years.
Okay, so Arlo will be 4 years older.
Yeah.
Than his.
I think
baby
that's
sister.
a good
Mhm.
number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen it all different ways when there's two.
Mhm.
And I grew up in a house where it was just me and my brother, so I'm used to the four.
Mhm.
I always laugh in hockey if somebody has their third kid, like
Uh-huh.
Chris Mason had his third a few years ago. He was no longer in the man-to-man defense.
Yeah.
He was in the 2-on-3. He was
Zone.
it was a zone defense.
Got to play zone.
or in hockey, the penalty kill. So you still have you can still play man to man,
Yeah.
Adam, but it is, there's more responsibility when you got two in the house.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm anxious
you
about.
You can flow with it. It just works itself out.
Right. Part of me is anxious about Arlo. He's been the center of the universe for 4 years. He's known about this for a long time, obviously. He seems excited. So I'm anxious about that. Just being able, I've been at a point now where it's like, hey, is Arlo taken care of? Great. I can go do what I need to do. Now you got to make sure that 2 children are taken care of. So I'm a little nervous about that, but I am excited. I know my wife is excited to no longer be pregnant. She absolutely hates it.
Sure she is.
If
I'm sure
anybody,
she
if
is.
anybody listening, whether if you've been pregnant or your significant other has been pregnant and enjoyed it, let me know, because I think that's all a sham. I think it's a sham that women enjoy being pregnant.
I mean, I'm not going to say how much of a sham it is, but man, oh man.
It's a sham.
I mean, some women said you would have to love it if you had more than one or two.
I do not have any
Exactly.
insights on this, but I have heard people say that they enjoy it
Yeah, some people say they enjoy it. Some
more than
people say,
others.
But
My wife is not a member of that club.
But what I would say to you is the time that you have with your second one, and Arlo as well. And I'm not going to say the second one name because we got a contest.
We do.
But the time that you have, like, one-on-one, take it. If that's getting up and letting Bridget sleep at night, I don't care if it's her time to go up there because you're working shifts. But what I found out was that alone time, it ain't like I walked up there every day was like, yeah, I'm doing this. No, but once I got up there, it was just, it was Derek and I. It was just he and I sitting. I was sitting in Rockingham. I spent time with them. And I got used to that. I enjoyed that. So first, enjoy every minute that you get along with your new baby girl, because once everybody's up, the attention is on her, from Arlo to Bridget to you, everybody, and you're not going to get that time alone. And then Bridget's not going to get much time alone too, because Arlo's going to be there, or she's going to be nursing the baby, so it's not going to really be time to just relax. So you take the time you need. Whenever you get time with your little one, take it, man. Take it. Even if it's just 5 minutes.
That's a good piece of advice. I'll throw this in there too. Once you get back to the flow, which will be, I don't know, a few weeks or whatever, maybe a month, whatever, make sure you carve out time for the two of you, the parents,
Yes.
and get a good babysitter so that you don't freak out like, oh, we can't leave the house because we've got two in there now. Like I have seen couples that stop going out.
Don't let the little one paralyze
you. Still have to have a
you.
little bit of social life. In there.
Don't
So
let the
carve
little
out
one
some time for yourselves together.
Exactly. Don't let the little one paralyze you, because a lot of times you see parents, I don't want to go anywhere. Something's going to happen to the little one. No, I got to do it. Or calling every 2 or 3 minutes. And I get it. Parents, we do that with the younger ones. But take a deep breath. If you're trusting somebody to watch your child, trust them fully and just go out and enjoy yourself. Don't enjoy yourself too long, but go out and enjoy yourself. Get a breather, kiss a little bit.
And then you'll be back in the
But don't be back in that saddle 9 months later.
All right, now.
No, I think two is my limit.
All right,
think
and
two is my
here's
limit.
one last one. This is a do not do. Do not use the term if Bridget wants to have the night out with the girls, don't tell her or anybody in that circle, I'm babysitting today.
Yeah, no, you're not babysitting.
No, we're not doing that.
You're not babysitting.
You're parenting.
Exactly.
You're parenting. You're not babysitting.
Yes,
I got busted on that a few times. I'll babysit tonight.
It's your baby.
You're parenting. You're parenting. You're not babysitting.
That's true. That's true. You don't want to keep score. That's something
No, you're
that
never
you learn
babysitting your own children.
when you first have children.
You're their dad. You're with them.
Oh man, yeah,
And let Arlo be involved.
yeah. Of course,
Let Arlo be involved.
of course.
You know.
I showed him the pictures of the ultrasound today. He was more interested in the machine that took the ultrasound than the ultrasound himself. He was like, "Where's the machine?" I'm like, "It's at the doctor's office. It's not. We're not going to see the machine." But I think he's going to be a great big brother,
Absolutely.
and I know we are excited to add to our family. The one thing that is great about a little one is you don't have to change too much because the little one can't do that much. I remember when Arlo was a newborn and Bridget wasn't home and I needed to take a shower. I could just lay down the towel on the bathroom floor,
There you go.
put Arlo on the floor, and I'd be fine. He's not going anywhere. He might roll around a little bit, but he's not going anywhere. One texter says, "Did anyone guess the name of the new baby?" Yes, with a caveat. Yes, somebody has correctly guessed the name of the child, and we do have a prize associated with this. Somebody has correctly guessed the name of the child, but spelled it incorrectly. So
you got to spell it correctly.
you have to spell it correctly for it to count. And if you are the first person to do that, we'll hook you up with something. Maybe some Predators tickets. We'll hook you up with something. But, it's, this morning when my wife told me it was happening, I was incredibly overwhelmed. I'm like, I'm not ready. I needed the 6 more days. I'm not ready. But the same thing happened with Arlo. Arlo came roughly 2 weeks early, a week and a half early. And you know what? I'm glad that he came earlier because he is my whole world. And I look forward to having another child to raise. And you know what? This world needs more Vingans.
There you go. Ain't nothing wrong with
The
that.
world needs more Vingans. There aren't many of us. We need another Vingan.
Ain't nothing
So-
wrong with Vingans around.
No, I mean, well, it depends.
Bridget,
It depends
you
on who
know.
you ask. Some people may not want more Vingans around. Yes, we're not a big family, the Vingans. We don't, I don't have my immediate family, all that. We're not very big. But I wanted to share this with all of you, my extended family, my
in a 2-minute
1025
drill.
the game. What?
You in a 2-minute drill.
What do you
right
mean?
now. This is the last 2 minutes.
Oh, yes.
I'm not saying of the show, but I'm saying like last 2 minutes of just being a parent of one. You're in that 2-minute drill now. You got everything ready? You ready for it? Because from now until tomorrow, you're going to be a different person. You're going to be a different person.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I'm going to sleep tonight.
That's what I'm saying.
Like,
That's what I'm saying. You're in a 2-minute drill,
Yeah.
man.
I can guarantee it's not gonna be that much.
You're in a 2-minute
Yeah.
drill, man. You got to, hey, everything got to be in order.
Yeah.
You got a game plan. Got to get to it.
We mostly have everything in
Mhm.
order, but we got to get it all ready and pack everything up, and we'll be heading to Vanderbilt bright and early tomorrow
Mm.
morning. So I'm excited. We're excited. I appreciate all of you who are excited for me. I really appreciate that. I consider you all a part of my extended family, those of you who listen to our program every weekday from 3 to 6. So the plan is that I'm going to be out the remainder of the month. So I will be back at the start of March. And there will be a lot going on at the start of March.
Oh,
We'll be
yeah.
nearing the NHL trade deadline. NFL free agency will be around the corner. The NCAA men's basketball tournament. A lot to go on. So this is it for me for the remainder of the month. I keep you in the capable hands of Willie, Derek, and David. I know Connor Newt's going to be pitching in as well. So thank you all again for all of the well wishes. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. At this time tomorrow, I'll be cradling a newborn girl. I can't wait. Love y'all. Not trying to steal Derek's thunder,
No.
but we'll talk to you tomorrow at 3:00.
Love you. I love you. The team loves you.
Thanks,
you
buddy.
hear that music? Don't you forget about us, because we will not forget about you. We will see you tomorrow at 3 p.m. And there will be a new addition to the family at around 4 p.m. or before that.
No,
but
it's going to be like 8 a.m. or
So
9
we
a.m.
will have a new addition to the 1025 The Game
Yes,
family.
sir.
See you tomorrow. Peace.